Hello and welcome to Typewriter Club Live. It's not often I get to do the little intro myself. We usually join the meeting kind of in progress. Yeah, so I'm the only one here. Well, it is 4th of July, so happy 4th of July. So maybe everybody forgot that we had voted to have a meeting today, so we'll see if anyone joins me. But otherwise, you're stuck with me. So and I'll be checking the comments. But yes, as you can see here, oh my goodness, oh my goodness, I joined a cult this week. um, yeah. I'm not sure who's going to join today, but I hope at some point Sarah Van Allen joins because yeah, she is the one that gave me the opportunity to add this to my collection. And I am so incredibly thankful. We worked out a deal that was mutually beneficial, but certainly more beneficial to me. So thank you so much, Sarah, if you're watching this. Yeah, thank you so much. And in a moment, I will give my initial um, thoughts on it, shall we say? Um, yeah. Now I'm really wondering if anyone's going to join today. I did post in the Facebook groups, so uh, maybe people are already doing fireworks, and yeah, not me. Yeah, but anyway, cheers. I hope everybody's doing well. Happy 4th of July to us Americans, even though I'm an honorary Canadian. Yeah. I'll probably let this, if no one joins, I'll let this go, 15 minutes and throw in the towel maybe. I may or may not last that long because it depends how much I can talk to myself. Oh man. Yes. So my thoughts on the Hermes 3000. Uh, it is everything that people say it is. It really, truly is. Um, it definitely has a very unique feel to it. And even though this one has a rock hard platen, um, it's surprisingly quiet. Let me see if I can turn on original sound so you can hear it. All right, so let's see how this works out. Yeah, wow, wow. And in a moment, I'll show you the typeface. Oh, she 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 mentioned what typeface it was. I'm drawing a blank though. Ooh, we have our first guest here. Yeah, yeah. So this thing is amazing, absolutely amazing. Hi, Lynn. How are you?
Hey, good,
Happy
good.
4th of July.
Yeah, got the got the holiday off my
Ah,
meeting.
okay, excellent. Well, that worked out well for me because you're the only one here.
Ah, who were you talking to a minute ago?
Just myself.
Oh
Well,
wow.
we're we're streaming live, so I'm talking to the future viewers of the recorded
Okay,
video.
you're
So
used to that sort of thing, I guess.
yeah, as a YouTuber, you get used to these sorts of things, talking to yourself
Right.
or things. So
You're talking to the crowd, whoever
yeah,
that might be.
there you go. We do have some people finally joining us, so that's good. I was only starting to feel a little awkward, but Hi,
Ah,
Eric and John.
Hi. Hello. How's
How
it
are
going,
you
everybody?
guys?
Good.
How are
How
you?
are you?
Very good, very good. Yeah, so, Sean, I have to apologize for last week. You came on, and we were so chatty that I didn't get a chance to say hi to you.
Oh, yeah, no, it's okay. I got on right at the end and you guys were so deep in conversation. I thought I'm probably not going to be able to get a word in before we sort of all ended. So I just thought
Oh,
I better move on. I
yeah.
cried a bit. I, I wiped my nose. I sniffled. I curled up in a ball for a bit, but then I was okay. So
And you were outside too, and it was looking beautiful. And
it was hot. It was hot.
oh, was it?
I wanted to show you California, folks. It can be hot in Canada, even though we
Okay,
were boiling. But yeah, it's over now. Sorry.
okay, okay.
Back in the basement.
Excellent, excellent. Well, it's good to see you.
You
So,
good? You guys as well. Hello, everybody.
yeah. And Eric, how are things with you?
Good. Um, recently got a new secretary desk. I've been looking for one of these for a while, so
Nice.
I had a lot of fun moving all of my fountain pen and stationery related things into it.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm
so
gonna make it big real quick. Oh yeah,
sure, yeah, I can.
has the drop down. Yeah,
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 it's got the secret compartments, which I didn't
yeah,
know about until I moved it into my apartment and opened it up, and then they had fallen out when I had moved it, so that was kind of cool to discover.
yeah. Now, now the drop down leaf or whatever you call that,
Yep.
um, it is that sturdy enough to hold the typewriter?
I think it should be, but I haven't put a typewriter on it. But it actually I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but there's these oh yeah, you can. So like it automatically uh comes out when you open the leaf. I
Oh,
thought that
okay.
was
So
really
it does
cool.
have the support
Maybe
under
if I
there.
put some light on it so you can see it a little bit better. So see,
Oh yeah.
it like automatically comes out.
Ah, yes. Okay.
So
So
cool.
that should be okay then.
Yeah, I think so.
I
It
mean, certainly
probably,
not
I
as.
wouldn't put my Royal KMM on it, but
Yes, yes. I was just gonna say that.
maybe this Olivetti Ventura, this one's
Yeah,
got a really
yeah.
light, but
Yeah. When you start hearing splintering wood, you know
yeah,
it's too heavy.
yeah. And then another cool thing that I recently got when I was at Savers the other day, which is just like a thrift store. I don't know if other parts of America have it, but
We have it
um,
here, yes.
yeah. So I found this Staples brand matte white postcard
Oh.
template stuff. So it's just like cardstock, but I um I took some vintage postcards that I had and scanned them into my computer and just got like the background that I
Ah, yes.
the backside that
Cool.
I liked, and so I printed out a couple of these. Too late for the postcard exchange, but but I thought it was kind of cool, so um, figured I'd share that.
Yeah.
Um, I did have to like they're perforated, so you can tear them out, but I did have to trim them a little bit because the vintage postcards are, I think, slightly smaller
Yeah, they
than
can be
these,
odd sizes.
but it came out pretty nice. Um,
Excellent.
and it's not like like it's so thick that you couldn't feed it through a
Yes.
typewriter,
Yeah,
so I like that. So um,
definitely. Very cool. Yeah, sometimes what I'll do if I have a postcard that I want to use, but it's way too thick to be fed through a typewriter, I'll essentially photocopy it onto like normal card stock and do it that way. I think the last time I did that, I just did it in black and white. I was going for a kind of vintage look, and I think I used a cream colored cardstock. So they turned out pretty nice actually. So yeah, but that's always a good option with postcards and typewriters is to take a postcard you like and copy it onto something you can feed through the typewriter. Because that can be very difficult sometimes, especially with the postcards that are very glossy. Yeah, Those.
Yeah, the vintage ones tend to be more matte.
Yes.
But I still couldn't feed it through my typewriter, so I had Eric Tidd as my postcard match, and so what I ended up doing was I just typed it onto just like a regular piece of copy paper, and then cut that out and double-sided taped it to the back, because I didn't have this until after I'd sent that. So, but I kind of like the idea of sending, you know, an authentic vintage postcard too. I think that's kind of special, and so I have an antique store it's like a few miles from where I live, and I go there a lot, and they have a vendor there that has a whole bunch of vintage postcards, and a lot of them don't have any writing on them yet. So if I can find duplicates of ones that I like, I try to get them there. But for ones that I haven't been able to find a duplicate of, this will be nice, so I can at least send some of those to people.
Yeah, definitely. Very good. I find it funny that here on 4th of July, there's 4 of us.
Happy American Day, everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, happy Independence Day to you guys. Sorry, I'm the one Canadian throwing off your whole 4th.
I know, but you got us to the 4, so that's all that matters.
we care. We care.
Yeah, and in Canada, they helped out with the Revolutionary War, didn't they? Weren't they part?
Yeah, we were the British, and so we were sending people down to try to put you guys back into the colony. So we didn't really help the way you're meaning.
I thought, yeah. I'm probably thinking of a different war. I should be embarrassed that I don't know.
We didn't have much going on in
American history.
1776 up here. It's 1812 when you guys got up again.
Yeah.
And we had to come down there and burn the White House down. And then we did some other stuff, sunk some ships, and we threw some rocks at each other, and then we called it quits, shook hands, and we've been friends ever since. So, you know, I think it's good.
That's funny. So, Lynn, do you have any new typewriters or anything you're working on?
Yeah, I've got a few things to share here.
Excellent.
Let's
We
see.
missed you, Lynn. Where you been?
Oh, I have a meeting on Sundays that since we're meeting again, I'm meeting.
Yeah.
Well, we're just happy you're back.
But
Yes.
the next 2 weeks, don't have it today or next week, so I'll be around a little bit. So this is my nice Erica I've been working on, and I redid the case. You can't really see, it's too dark here. But basically recovered the case, used the old.
Wow.
Yeah, this is actually in pretty good shape. It's got a little bit of a crack here, but with a little reinforcement, that would be good. And then I got some dark green velvet, which
Ooh, that's
looks
nice.
pretty snappy.
Yeah.
And then put the velvet underneath here, and then this is all recovered.
Very nice.
But it's got a weird, I think I've shown the weird keys. I guess it's a Czech keyboard.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
So the numbers are in uppercase,
Yeah.
which is really inconvenient.
No kidding.
I'm not that wild about quartz to begin with, but then and there's no apostrophe, so you can't do contractions.
That's interesting.
Wow.
But I did, this was all nicked up, the top here, so I had that repainted by an auto body shop. They happen to be doing a jet black car,
Oh.
and so I got them into
Wow.
to do that. So that's looking really spiffy now.
Yeah.
Wow.
I wonder what the reaction is to these. Like Brian Good took his to. I think it may have been an auto body place, or I just wonder what the reaction is when you bring in a piece of a typewriter. Like, are they like, what is this?
Yeah, they
What car
do
did this
one.
come out of?
Yeah.
Yeah, when I tell them it's a part of a typewriter, they smile.
Oh, okay.
And you know, a lot of places will give me a, like, I had it sandblasted, and they kind
Yeah.
of gave me a nice deal on that. I was gonna have it I was actually an Olympia SM3 cover that I had sandblasted because I was all nicked up too. And I wanted it powder coated, but he talked me out of that. Because he said if the powder coat isn't completely perfect, getting it off would be impossible.
Oh, wow.
So that's sort of a thing to think about if you are
Yeah.
taking it in to be repainted. So the auto body guy is just a local guy, and he was working on a door. So it
Ah,
kind of worked out good.
Lynn, did you take off the Seidel and Naumann logo there, or did he just paint like spot paint at the bottom of the cover?
We covered that with some tape.
Oh,
and
okay,
it,
gotcha.
it
Yeah,
held up.
yeah, oh, that's good.
So,
That looks great.
because that doesn't actually come off. That's just
Oh, it's actually
It's-
formed right into it.
right in there. Yeah.
Oh.
oh, wow.
Then this one I got for $15 because it was just a moldy mess. And it's working. The one thing that's not working so well is the tab. Like I had to reattach the the drawband and stuff, but the tab sticks, so it'll
Ah,
and it's
Yeah.
got some kind of a rubbing going on, and I'm not seeing
Yeah.
any helpful YouTube video about that, but
You've
it
got
types fine.
The braking mechanism is usually what's sort of gumming it up. The spring wrapped around the bottom part of the escapement, sort of the tabs braking mechanism, that's usually
Oh.
gummed up in some way. So when you look
Okay.
underneath it and then you tab, you'll see how the spring sort of pulls to brake as the carriage goes. But usually there's crap around there enough that it's
Huh.
not, the pieces just sort of aren't moving, or it hasn't been loosened up properly. So it's not allowing it to sort of do its full travel. Usually what I found on those things, I mean, it's around the higher part closer to you. There sort of looks like a spring around you can see it on the left side there, just above the screw, the spring piece that's sort of wrapped around a half circle there. I think that
Oh
is it.
yeah. Okay.
That's the
I'll look
tab.
at that.
I just call it the braking mechanism, but it's sort of the tab so your carriage doesn't slam to the side. And usually it's
Okay.
just there's guff and stuff in there, so you sort of have to check it out, see how
cool.
it works, and blow it out.
Excellent. I
That
will
might
have a-
help you. The other thing is it
Yeah.
might be just the rack needs adjustment, but usually those things, Smith Coronas, they're so bulletproof. I mean, usually you don't need a lot; they just need gunk removed from a part, and they're usually good to go again.
Yeah, this was so bad. I took it all apart and put it in rust chelating stuff. I put the whole body in, and but I didn't blow out every nook and cranny, so that might be the thing.
I like rust chelating stuff.
Yeah, it's like it doesn't hurt anything. It doesn't even hurt paint, unless the rust is under the paint, and then your paint is
yeah.
And you will lose your paint. Yeah.
yeah. But yeah. Well, I took all the case off, all the painted parts off, and put that in Clorox
Looks good,
combination, everything, and it doesn't smell anymore. I mean, I had to redo. So I'm missing the
Oh yeah.
knob there. So if anybody's got a stray knob, I'd appreciate that. But I replaced all the felt inside, and
that's good.
now it doesn't stink. And then I have a rural friend who he used to collect typewriters when he was a kid, and for various reasons was getting rid of stuff, and this is one of them that he gave me.
Wow.
Pilot secretarial. Wow.
That thing is impressive.
It's imposing for sure.
Yeah,
It needed
yeah.
it needed a lot of cleanup. But it's typing well now, and it's got the nice wide carriage. I don't really have a wide carriage at this point because I've given some away. It has SG1 that somebody bought off me. Friend took it, so that was my wide carriage. So that, I don't know, it's not something I'm madly in love with, but he said find it a nice home. So
Wow.
yeah.
That seems to be a higher model than just the regular secretarial, with the way Smith Cronin named them, like a silent secretarial. I haven't seen one except in pictures before.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it
I
doesn't.
don't know.
I don't think it has the noiseless kind of mechanism.
No, more marketing, I think. But
Yeah.
maybe they just put more felt into it.
Who
Who knows?
No, there's like none.
Well, we know
Maybe
who's
it's a
got felt.
placebo effect.
Yeah.
They figured if they slap silent on it, people will think it's quieter.
Yeah.
Well, it's a machine for sure.
I
And
really
it's
like
got nice keys.
I really like those silver accents going on there behind the keys there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Very nice.
Yeah. I mean,
You like
it's
it?
not something I really, desire, but again, I want to have about 4 typewriters, and I've got way more than that at this point.
Yeah.
I'm thinking I have to take a road trip to where people are actually selling typewriters, and just say, here, what can you sell? What you want to give me? I'm not looking to make huge money off of any of this. I just want it out in the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Ordinarily, I would be very interested in that silent secretarial, but I would have to pare down my collection first because it's way out of control. And then I have probably too many standard typewriters as it is. So
Yeah.
right.
yeah. Fortunately, I did get rid of my FPE. It was Royal FPE wide carriage, because I mean those wide carriages, they can be tricky to store. So
Yeah.
Mm. Well, I have a lot of older ones too. I've got Royal Flatbed 5 and a Royal 10, and I've got the old Remington. I think I showed you guys the under typer, and Blick 8, and I posted that to typewriter forum.
yeah.
And got 60 views, no comments. Nobody wants any of it, and it's like, really.
Interesting.
That's the hard part.
I'll bring it to you.
But again, that's one of those cases I would be interested, but those early typewriters really scare me. Oh,
Well,
man.
the Royals are working good. The 5 and the 10 are typing well. I mean, probably you'd want a new Platin if you wanted to actually use it a lot, but the other 2 are more for antiquarian types.
Yeah.
Know what they're doing.
Yeah. I mean, certainly I love the look of those, but realistically, I just want to type. I don't want to have to maintain a typewriter necessarily, other than the super easy stuff like cleaning the type slugs and stuff like that. But as far as having to do the thought of having to do constant repairs and finding parts, and I have no interest in that. Oh man, I should change my name from the poor typist to the lazy typist. Yeah. Or
Well,
maybe I can be poor and lazy.
I think it took me 6 months to figure out my favorite typewriter is the Torpedo or Senior Writer or Bluebird or whatever, the 18.
Yeah.
And that's really what I like to type on. And so that's what I want to settle in on. But I've got all these Olympias and Royals and oh my God, Smith Coronas. I've got 2 silent Smith Coronas like this silent super that I just showed you. And, you know, I just need to get them gone.
Yeah. Yeah. Excellent.
I don't know if you're waiting for more people to show up, but I think we're probably all dying to hear you talk about that Hermes 3000 you got
okay.
there.
I actually I started talking about it when I was like the only one here. I waited I think a minute or two, and no one was showing up, and I was like, well, I'll just start the stream and just start blabbing because it's what I do best on YouTube anyway. So I started talking about it, and then finally Lynn saved me and she joined in, and and then shortly thereafter you and Sean joined in. So yeah, but yeah, okay. So Sarah Van Allen gave me the opportunity to get this Hermes 3000, and I mean, she was asking a ridiculously low amount for it, which I then tripled. So, but so even at that, I got it for a fraction of what it's worth. So this was my first experience with a Hermes, and it's wonderful.
I know, isn't it?
It's like I kind of feel like my search for the perfect typewriter is over. Now, whether or not that'll keep me from getting more typewriters is,
it will not.
Yeah, probably not. But I'm very, very satisfied right now.
Yes.
And this is probably going to get a ton of use. Let me turn on the original sound. First of all, well, the platen is hard. But not so hard that you can't use it. Like I have some that they're like a hole punch, and like every character punches a hole. But this is not one of them, so that's good. I'm using the heavier paper with a backing sheet, so it's 2 sheets of 32 pound, and it seems to work pretty well. But yeah, I turned on the original sound, so you should be able to hear it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you're a hunting pecker like me. That's good, Gregory. That's
Yes. Good. Yes. Yeah. I do it pretty quick, as you can see.
Yeah, you do.
I've been doing it since I was like 14 is when I got my first typewriter. I asked for one for my birthday, but yeah.
Well,
I was the weird child.
Hey, that's okay. I think so. When I first got my first Hermes 3000, it was like typing on a cloud, because it was all smooth yet snappy, yet not mushy like an Olivetti can be. And it was probably a couple of years when I realized, looking at the side profile, it actually looks like a cloud, a green seafoam cloud. Yeah. And then I was like, oh, it's just such a wonderful typewriter to type on.
Exactly.
And, if there's one typewriter you absolutely do buy a silk ribbon for, it's the Hermes 3000. Like I've only ever bought 2 silk ribbons just because I wanted to try them out. But one of the silk ribbons I put on the Hermes just because it sort of deserved it, and the print was just so
And you know, that was like an added bonus because Sarah put a silk ribbon in it.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, perfect. Oh, that's perfect. Yeah, you got the cloud.
Hopefully she joins later, but I do want to show you the typeface.
What typeface does he have?
Yeah.
Techno one, right?
Oh yeah, the Techno, what they called the Techno, I think, in the Hermes.
So of course,
see, that's beautiful. That silk just prints nice.
Yeah. Let me let Kelsey in. There we go.
But then again, you're using 64 pounds of backing there to get that.
I know, huh? So this is actually, I'll go ahead and make myself big. Get a nice good look at it. So that's just the black setting, the first two lines there. Then it has the yellow setting, which I'm not entirely
Red,
sure
black.
what that's intended for, but
It's for the middle, so you can get more out of a standard ribbon.
okay, got it.
If you were one color, then that would just use the middle of the ribbon. But since you're using two color, it sort of makes that.
Yeah, you get the mix there, which I actually kind of like. I wish it was more black dipping into the red. That I think would be more usable. But and then there's the red and the beautiful numbers there. Oh, and look how dark that is. My goodness.
Silk ribbon, my friend. It's great.
Yeah, so I don't think there's anything I don't like about it. And I do love the whole margin setting system. Do they have a specific name for it, like magic margins, or is it just
I think they do, but you know what I love is that little ribbon, the little red ribbon they put in the scene window there.
Yes.
So you can actually see where your margins are when you set it. Like that's just such a freaking cool thing.
And it makes you want to keep resetting your margins.
I know. You just want to move them
So
just
fun
to
to
see
watch
that little red. Yeah.
Yeah, so I am loving it. And for now, I'll be perfectly content to probably use this one an awful lot. It's going to get a lot of use. But yeah, the fact that she gave me the opportunity to get it, because she knew I wanted one so badly, and we were able to work out a deal. Wow.
That's awfully nice of Sarah. She's a swell gal.
Oh yeah. And she sent it super, super fast. I mean, it was just last Sunday that we were talking about it, and I think I received it on Wednesday. Of course, she's in California, so we're not that far. But well, she's in Northern California. But
had you tried one prior to buying it, or was this
no? So
really?
I mean, I was going strictly based on what I had heard, and I suspected I would at least like it. I didn't think I would hate it, but it was completely blind. And I had wanted to go to a type-in to, actually test one out and see what the fuss was about. But now here one is, and my goodness. Wow.
Congrats.
So it's been an interesting week. I joined a cult.
That's so funny, because that was one of my first manual purchases was a 70s model, but totally refurbished by a guy up in Michigan who, is like an old expert tech in Hermes. And so I paid $500 and I didn't like it.
Oh
It
no!
was so funny. It was like the touch was just a little too heavy for me. And, you use kind of hunt and peck kind of, and I do touch typing.
Okay,
So
yeah.
it doesn't work as well for me because the pinkies are really strenuous when you have to, hit those keys.
Yeah.
Even with the touch adjustment and stuff. But my daughter loves it. So mine was Techno Pica as well, which is a really attractive alternative typeface. And, so there's wonderful things to like about it. But I really paid through the nose on that one and was like, oh, I don't like it.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I paid nowhere near that for this. So I mean, it was essentially a gift. Let's call it what it was. It was essentially a gift. So Kelsey, how are you?
I'm doing well. Yeah.
Very good. Happy 4th of July to you.
What was that?
Happy 4th of July to you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, it's been relatively quiet. I guess they put a huge fine because it's been so dry. It ended up, goodness, it was like 115, 16. I mean, it was ridiculous last weekend. Yeah. So anyway, so they put a huge fine. So we haven't had a lot of fireworks going on in the neighborhood. So that's good because my horse just freaks out, and the dogs don't seem to care that much.
Wow.
but the horse, when it's not the noise, because I think he's slightly deaf, but when the lights, are right over his field, it's just too much for me. I mean, it looks like we're in a war. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Wow.
How's everybody else
Fireworks can get
doing?
pretty crazy here
Yeah.
because it's legal in New Hampshire.
Ah.
People were launching fireworks off last night at like 9 o'clock and it was pouring out.
Oh,
People are
wow.
still doing it.
Wow.
And they'll probably continue doing that for the rest of the month.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that's the same thing here in New York City. It's illegal in New York City, but that doesn't stop people from doing it. So
Yeah.
It's legal here though. Like people, you can
Oh,
actually
it's
buy
legal
fireworks here. Yeah.
yeah,
How are you, Matthew?
I'm good. I haven't seen you guys in a while. I had a
I'm fine.
vacation and I had a couple other things going on, and I've missed everybody.
Very good. Very good. Well, we're good. We're glad to see you again. Yes.
I'm glad to be here.
Excellent. Anything new in your world?
I haven't gotten it. I did get a new typewriter. I got one of the Smith Corona wedges. Just on one of my vations. Nothing spectacular, but still something to add to the collection.
Yeah.
Oh, and in this, so this was the interesting part. I have some old Opryland letterhead.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
The Opera Lion Hotel.
Yeah,
With the
so
proper.
that's kind of neat to get that with it too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Matthew, doesn't it make
that's
you want
really
to wear
all
a?
that's new.
It should make you want to wear a sequined jacket.
It does. Sequin jacket and a cowboy hat, doesn't it?
Yes, like Hank Matthew Sr.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. And Lee, how are you?
Hi, I'm good, thank you.
Excellent.
I've not seen you all for a while either.
Oh.
Just recently been doing some overtime, and because over here we've still got this lockdown until the 19th of July, so some of my colleagues are still shielding as well. So I've just been covering for a while, which was an agreed period, but that is now over, which is why I'm here.
Ah, good.
So it's nice to see you and see you all again and be back. So
Ah.
yeah, and happy 4th of July as well to all
Thank
of you.
you so much. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, so far here in Southern California, it's pretty quiet. There was some going off in the distance last night. It wasn't too bad. I think it was maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. A neighbor down the street had done fireworks, and I think it was Ted that called me out as a narc because I called the police on them.
Oh.
And so I didn't hear anything over there last night. So yeah, I think I scared them straight.
So to answer for a Canadian who doesn't really know any better but has a mental picture of what it's like down there, is it like a full day of big family get-togethers with fireworks and drinking and backyard barbecues, or is it sort of just all over the place? And like, what's it like?
No,
I think you hit the nail on the head.
Yes, yes, exactly.
In Ohio, that's exactly it.
Oh, in Ohio, for sure. I knew it was in Ohio. Yeah. I was just wondering what places like New York and Southern California.
So,
Yes.
so in New York, I think that everyone pretty much just goes to the fireworks show at night. So there's one that's happening at Coney Island at like 10:30, and then the big one is the Macy's fireworks. And supposedly this year it's supposed to be like 25 minutes and 65,000 shells, and they do it over the harbor. So depending on where you get a view from, it can be pretty cool to have like the skyline back behind the fireworks, and so it's kind of neat.
Yeah, that would be impressive. Definitely. Yeah. Now, Will, since you are new, did you want to give us a brief introduction to yourself?
Yeah, I'm new to this, but I'm not new to collecting. I've been collecting 20 years. Had multiple websites, wrote for etc. for probably 10 years, starting about 20 years ago, and have 2 blogs running at the moment. You'll see me pop in and out on usually on Austin Typewriter Inc. That's where I hang out most of the time. But thought I'd jump in and try this out.
Excellent.
You are
thank you for
the Will
welcome.
Davis.
Hello.
This is the Will Davis. Wow. I need your autograph, Will. I love reading your stuff.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, this is the first time you ever seen me on camera. Normally it's pointing at the typewriters.
There
Yes.
you go.
If you've seen our videos on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's very good. Now, do you have a favorite typewriter in your collection?
No. My standard answer years ago was my favorite typewriter was the first typewriter I found out about today that I never heard of before.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
back from the old days when we were all traditionally on the hunt and we could see each other's IDs on eBay and we would hammer each other gleefully, bidding up on something new. That never really left. So today I'm not buying typewriters anymore, but I am buying lots of ephemera. Usually not in the open, usually from collectors. I've been buying a lot from Greg Fudage lately. I'm sure that's a guy you all know. And mostly behind the scenes, mostly on rebuilt typewriters.
Okay. Excellent.
Have you guys all seen Lucas Dull's new video about the animal keyboard?
It was in my feed, but I haven't watched it yet.
It's it seems like that would be a really rare thing. Maybe since we have an expert on board, but Smith Corona put out in the 30s an animal keyboard.
There's actually more of those out there than you might think.
Oh, yeah.
I've been seeing those. I've been seeing maybe, if I had to put a number on it, I probably see 2 or 3 of those a year come up new for the last 15 years.
Well,
I mean, they're pricey. You're going to pay for one, but it's an animal keyboard Corona is something that if you want it, you can put it on your wish list and you'll probably get it. You won't get the rings.
Right.
You won't get the instructions, but you'll get the typewriter if you wait long enough. Same thing with the Remingtons, the Bantam with the zone color key tops. If you wait long enough for those and you're willing to pay enough.
Yeah.
That's the key issue.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm waiting for a barn, where I just happen upon something like that.
Just take what you want, Lynn. It's all free. Right. Yeah.
That used to happen a lot more than it does now. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I live in a place where it's, very much nowhere. So.
Really?
Yeah, I've got all sorts of stuff coming my way, and I, have no market for it. It's really crazy.
I wish I could find a Smith Premier 9 in a barn.
How many Smith Premiers do you have? My God. What am I to say? Never mind. Forget I said that.
Oh, well, I have one of every model except for the 9.
I'll keep an eye out.
But it's the proverbial needle in the haystack.
Yeah.
I've seen a bunch of the front strikes turn up overseas lately. 40s, 60s. I'm in a couple of Italian groups, and those seem to be all of a sudden they're coming out of the woodwork.
Interesting.
I've only ever had a shot at one, and I own it.
Excellent. I think a while back I did see I think it was a number 5 on Shop Goodwill. It didn't look like it was in very good condition, but I know that it hasn't stopped you in the past, Diane.
Yeah, but somehow I don't trust anybody shipping one of those. They're just too big, and they're, believe it or not, too fragile for shipping.
Yeah, I do
I've
believe
said
that.
before, we need to get some typewriter cases back in circulation. There's plenty of crates out there. We need to get those back in circulation between collectors. Who's got the Oliver crate? Who's got the Underwood crate? Who's got the Victor crate? And then that gets sent to
Herman.
whoever has a typewriter to ship, and then you pack it and send it, and then I get the crate back or whoever.
Yeah,
Herman
Good
has
idea.
them.
Herman does.
Herman has a bunch of crates. Yeah, he does. And for a price, I'm sure they're available.
Excellent.
Mm.
Yeah. So, Will, do you have any typewriters near you that you can show us, or?
Nothing near me. There's ephemera about 10 feet that way.
Okay.
There's typewriters about 15 feet that way. But nothing right here. Nothing
Okay,
right here.
that's fine. That's fine. Yeah.
I just did this as a lark, and my video partner, my brother Dave, is sitting about 10 feet that way. He may join us.
Oh, okay. Excellent.
Bill, what's your opinion on the Hermes 3000? Overrated or awesome typewriter?
Overrated. Yeah, overrated. There's a lot of gadget value on those things, especially the margin indicator in the bail that is likely to fail. And then if you buy that typewriter, if you spend the $500 you're going to spend for a boutique rebuild on that typewriter, and that breaks, you're crushed. And then you find out nobody wants to or can fix it. And if you take it to our local typewriter shop over here, they're not going to touch it. So then you get into the whole how does the typewriter feel thing. That's highly subjective. If that's the machine for you, that's fine. But I can go much faster on a Super 5. I can go much faster on a Woodstock Standard than I can on a Hermes 3000. And when I return the carriage on a Woodstock, it's not flying off the table. So that whole Larry McMurtry thing, maybe I don't remember how many years ago that was. Yahoo groups were still running when that happened. And we just all watched the price on those skyrocket. And some of us made some good money on selling the Hermes we had piled up over the years. But it was never when I was going to type something, it was never first out. Never.
Yeah. Sorry,
Opinions may vary. Your results may vary.
Yeah, as with any typewriter, right? Everyone feels a little different, and depending on its treatment and who's used it and all that.
Yeah,
but,
mileage.
Gregory just got his first, so
mileage counts.
Yeah. This was my first one, my first time even experiencing one, and I was kind of blown away, actually. So but it's all a matter of taste.
They're unique. There's no question about it. The pictograms on the operating keys on top are confusing.
Yeah, I still don't.
Yeah,
remember.
It takes a while to get used to takes a while to get used to. Oh, I thought I was going to move the carriage, but now I've just reset the margins, and
yeah,
exactly.
I do that every time.
Yeah.
It's not intuitive.
Exactly.
Like anything else, the car you bought, it took me 3 years to get used to the idea that the wipers were over here instead of over there, but you got used to it.
Yeah. My natural inclination was that the button was going to set the margins, but it's the switch that sets the margins.
They didn't have focus groups in 1963, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, plus I'm a big fan of the magic margins, and those are buttons, so I have that connection as well. So
be on the top. There should be on the.
Yeah. Yeah, it's certainly a very, very unique typewriter, that's for sure.
Yeah, they didn't copy anything off anybody else when they built those, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the one that I actually did my poetry festival with, the Hermes 3000.
Oh, nice.
I like it too. It just, for me, it's what makes you most productive. And I just liked the way that it felt, and it just helped the words come. And if that's what it takes, then that's a good typewriter to me. So
bingo. Sometimes there's too much focus on a machine.
Yeah.
I learned in a room full of Royal Standards that were awful. They were pounded out, and we still make our time on them. I got close to 100 words a minute on a machine. It was just pounded out.
Yeah.
You make do with what sometimes you make do with what you have.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I have I have a very soft spot in my heart for also thermal typewriters, which of course many people will argue they're not typewriters, but you know, but I think whatever gets the job done and whatever inspires you to write, it works.
That's right. Well, from a pure historical standpoint, they all have a spot, don't they?
Yeah, exactly.
Right? I mean, it doesn't matter whether we like or dislike the machine. It still falls in the spectrum somewhere, right?
Yes.
So enjoying that and understanding that and respecting that doesn't make you less of a hobbyist if that's what you like.
Yeah, yeah.
Is the thermal paper expensive? I was at a rummage sale where they were like giving it away, and I just wasn't sure if that was really a thing.
The individual sheets, it can be expensive. The rolls, you can still find those reasonably cheaply. Last I saw, they still have them at Staples, but they're in the clearance section, so it's gonna be hit or miss. But because they are in the clearance section, they're super cheap.
Yeah.
But you know, it's gonna become an issue of being able to find that thermal paper.
John Monroe showed us last week that you can still buy it in Japan.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
all else fails, maybe you can get some from him.
Yeah. And going back several weeks, I think, or maybe even a few months, Joe and I were talking about the thermal EKG paper, which obviously that's going to be available for, you know, quite some time, I would hope. Unless they dramatically change those EKG printers. Yeah.
You're never going to have a problem finding thermal paper. There's too
There
many
you
thermal
go.
printers out there.
There you go.
I find
Excellent.
it at thrifts for like $1 a roll all the time. So.
Yeah. That's what I needed, a positive outlook.
Yes. Here's your positive outlook. You're never going to have a problem finding thermal roll paper.
There you go.
Always count on Ted for a positive outlook.
I
Ted.
just remembered.
Sorry,
Hello,
is it-
everybody.
Hello.
Hello.
Morning.
How are you guys
Hi,
this
Patty.
morning?
Awesome now that you're here.
Oh, well,
See,
sorry
now
that I was late.
It's okay. It's funny because
Ted Monk's on there.
yeah, this was like the first one where I actually started the live stream by myself.
Oh my.
Start this thing and see what happens, and then Lynn showed up, so I was relieved at that point.
I'm sorry I left you lonely.
It's okay.
I see you have plenty of friends though, so
Yes.
no worries.
Yeah. And Patty, welcome.
Hi.
Hello, Patty Barnett.
How are you?
Hi, Patty.
I'm good. Good. Still basking in the glory of getting this SG1 done.
Oh. Now, since you're new to the live stream, did you just want to give us a brief introduction about yourself?
Sure. I'm a senior, retired, but still working, and I've been collecting for the last year and a half or so. And trying to learn how to repair. I'm getting better at it. I found that after looking at a lot of machines and putting them back on the shelves, that I can go back in 6 months and figure them out. So I'm feeling more confident in that realm of doing repair work. But I need to start culling the herd here because I've got a lot of machines I know I can't fix. So hopefully you guys will be seeing some offerings up on the classifieds here pretty soon so I can get rid of some of these.
Excellent.
But I'm in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. It's extremely hot here right now and dry, so a lot of fire hazard. And it's just me and my dog and the cat.
Oh.
Don't
What
forget
kind
the
of dog do you
fish.
have?
Pardon?
Yeah, the fish too. Don't
Oh, a
forget the
fish too, yeah.
Oh, yeah, the fish. I'm sorry. I tried to find something with a decent background here because I didn't want you to see my work area. It's a mess. So I thought maybe the fish would be more appropriate in the background. It's a 70-gallon tank and it's huge, and the fish are huge. I've had them for quite a few years. I bought them for the cat to entertain her, and she could care less. So they've kind of become my pets, not hers.
That's funny. And earlier I was asking what kind of dog you have because I'm a dog.
Oh, I'm sorry. I have a mini Aussie. His name is Tucker,
He's quite a handful, just a couple of years old. I got him. I missed my other dog after about 6 months. I said I'd never get another one. And then I went and did it anyway because I found that I was getting pretty stagnant just sitting around. So the dog kind of alleviated that issue. And right now he's over in his recliner, whining, trying to figure out who I'm talking to. So, yeah, he's wanting to get involved, I think.
Yeah. It's usually the cats that end up on screen on here.
Yeah.
Their butts.
Yeah, Jack just sleeps. She no interest whatsoever in participating.
Oh.
I don't know if you can see him or not. Here, Tucker. Come here.
Oh,
There he is.
Oh.
Tucker.
And we had
Good shot.
oh,
cute.
it's too much. Too much.
It's over.
Yeah, that's over. Just give me a cookie. Let me go back to bed.
And we had a brief glimpse of your cat behind you.
Yeah, she's sleeping in the recliner, I think, right there in the corner. She prefers my chair. Tucker has his own. So,
Okay.
yeah, it's a good way to keep the dog hair off of my chair was to give him his own. So I just gave him my old one and put it in the corner of the room. He likes it there.
Yeah, yeah.
But I live across the street from a beautiful park. We live across the street from the Veterans Memorial Park here in Sioux Falls. So we got a lot of traffic and a lot of flags flying over there today. And a beautiful pond and fountains. And it's a great place to live. It's really a nice place.
Nice.
If you haven't been to Sioux Falls, somebody come see me. Nobody comes to Sioux Falls.
Oh.
I've been
So if
through
you're on your
there.
way to if you're on your way to Sturgis, Bob, stop by here.
Yeah. Excellent.
Gee, I used to stop there whenever I was headed to Rugby, North Dakota. And Sioux Falls was basically the limit of my one-day driving ability. It
Oh,
was,
so you made the stop here, huh?
yeah, I made the stop because it's too far. It's like I live down near St. Louis, and even St. Louis to Sioux Falls, that's a heck of a drive for
It is.
one day by yourself. And it's like, okay,
I'm not there yet.
and
Yeah.
Yeah, I get to Omaha quite a bit. I don't know if you ever come up that way, but Omaha's a good place for shopping for typewriters. I try to look before I go and see if there's anything that interests me. Sometimes my mother will even go pick them up for me. She lives there. So sometimes I can find them on Facebook and stuff without all those shipping issues, and even eBay. I've noticed, I don't know if anybody else has caught it, but my shop by location has disappeared on eBay. I don't know if it's a permanent removal or if it's just me, but I can't shop by zip code anymore, so I can't look to see if there's anything in my area. So somebody might want to look at that and see, because I kind of thought that was nice.
Yeah. It's kind of a handy feature to have to
I have found a lot of them that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you don't want to ship anything.
What was that?
I said, especially if you don't want to ship anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I don't.
We've driven to get some of the most ones.
Yeah.
Oh,
I had to mute David because I think we were getting an echo there.
I definitely have made some road trips in my days too, and sometimes that's the best way. Tucker loves to go for road trips, so you know, I've been down in Iowa, I've been all places in Nebraska. I drove 100 miles to get this SG1, which, by the way, I almost left it on the porch and left him the money and left again because it was so bad. Fargo, North Dakota for a pink, super silent, and just about anywhere I can find them. You know, I'd rather drive and pick them up than to have them shipped.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the pictures did not do this SG1 any justice. It was horrible, absolutely horrible when I got there. And I couldn't even get the carriage off to load it in the car, and it was sitting on the ground. And I just about slipped the $25 under the mat on the door and just left it sitting because I was so scared that this was something I couldn't tackle. But 6 weeks it's taken me to get it fixed, but it's up and working well.
Wow.
Yeah.
Perseverance.
determination. I didn't want to fail, you know, and it was one of those things that just needed to be cleaned. It didn't need to be fixed. So it took a lot of days of getting those dead bugs out of there. It was horrible. It was so gross. I mean, when I moved it off my workbench and went to clean my workbench off, it was like, oh my gosh, there's little carcasses everywhere. You know, I had to vacuum them all up again. But it definitely was worth the effort. I'm really, really happy with it. It's a nice machine.
Good, good.
I see we have the Davis brothers on today.
Yes.
All right. I don't know if you know, but they're the click and clack of the typewriter world. You ever get to see their videos?
Used to be anyway.
Oh.
We need to see more videos out of them. Those were fun.
More videos is always a good thing, I think.
We're working on it.
Okay.
We're working on it. We actually have a first typewriter I've bought in probably 10 years, sitting upstairs that we're going to do the first renewal video on. It's something pretty interesting.
All right.
And one that's commonly misunderstood. So don't miss that episode.
We won't. I won't anyway.
Yeah.
That should be online sometime before 2023.
Yeah.
All right. Duly noted.
So what's your YouTube channel name?
I don't remember what we're under. It's linked from the Davis Typewriters Works blog, which we occasionally link to on Austin Typewriter Inc.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. We'll check it.
Yeah, that blog. I don't want to open a whole book here, but that blog was what we used to replace the website I had going on all the way since back to AOL, and then I've taken a bunch of the more popular articles when I could actually get in there and see HTML before they took that away, that's now gone from Yahoo. So I took the more popular articles and transplanted them on this Davis Typewriters Work blog, which I think is on WordPress.
Okay.
And, no, that's Blogspot. That's Blogspot. And some other stuff. That one's, we haven't done much on that in a while. We've been sticking most of the internet, most of the Facebook. You know, when I wanted to revitalize the On the Margin blog lately, I realized that people don't click twice. So I created a page for On the Margin on Facebook and have just been directly putting things there. I don't have to worry about click-throughs. People will read it, and I can actually use Facebook's statistics there and see whether the stuff's getting out.
Exactly. So. Yep. Facebook
roll
has
with
its
the times.
Yeah. Definitely.
It was dial-up when we started.
Yeah, it was. I remember I was the first one of us that had a 2880 modem. That was like lightning fast.
Oh, yeah?
That dates us.
I remember the 300 baud modems that you have to slap the button on the top when you made your call and then waited for the tone. Slap the button on the top of your modem and hung up. Hello, Sarah.
Morning.
Hi, Sarah.
Hi, Sarah.
Hi, everybody. Good morning.
Morning.
Hey, Sarah.
I had a tear.
Yeah,
I'm really wondering, Sarah, do you have an extra Hermes you can send me?
I got a Hermes 3000 burning a hole in my pocket. No,
Yeah.
I'll give you $40 for it.
No deal.
Seems like you really want to get rid of that thing.
No deal. No, no, actually it's, I have another one that's in worse condition. This one was in such awesome shape, but when I bought it, actually, I had found a good deal on it, and I thought of Gregory instantly because I've always felt like, as the leader of our group, he deserves to have a Hermes, you know? Like, how is it possible that the guy that's doing this show every single week and working so hard to keep us all together doesn't even have a Hermes? It just, to me, it didn't add up. So I felt like, yeah. So I felt like it was really important to put one in his hands somehow. And so I'm just really thrilled. It really fills my heart to be able to do that. And, you know, that Gregory is such an appreciative guy and truly treasures what he's got. It just makes it so much more wonderful. So I hope that, folks out there can see that we don't need to be greedy. We can give, and we can be generous with each other and share the love, because it's so special when you share a good machine with somebody. I certainly appreciate it, It's just
Well, Sarah, he was very bubbly this morning when Eric forced him to give us the show and tell, because he was just sitting there and he didn't talk about it for like 40 minutes. Finally, Eric's like, "Are you gonna talk about that,
I was
Hermes?"
waiting for that. I was excited to join today, and I haven't watched the whole thing. I watched little bits and pieces, but I was like, oh my gosh, he loves it so much.
Oh, yeah.
It just, it makes me really happy. Because I have enough typewriters, let's face it. And I love that one, but I was just like, Gregory needs this machine, and he paid me a little something, so it wasn't like completely free, although I was really tempted, but we worked out a good deal, and I'm really pleased. He deserves it. Let's say congratulations and thank you so much to Gregory for all of his hard work, because there's no him without, or no us without him, I guess is how you say that. Without you, there is no us. So
yeah, we wouldn't exist.
A round of snaps for Gregory.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
We are all
How many people have
figments
been
of his
offered a typewriter
imagination.
and cash to take it?
Yeah. So, I mean, I love being able to be sometimes generous. I mean, I'm not a rich woman, as you probably know. I don't make a lot of money. I'm a single mom, but I believe in generosity, and I hope that sort of vibe spreads out to everybody else, and that y'all can help each other out in various ways. It's just really fun. It's fun to give back. I love it.
Very well said.
Yeah.
And thank you again.
To get to Hermes, Sarah, one of these years.
I would love to. I have to drag my kiddos off with me. It'd be tough.
I know.
I think that the cost of a plane ticket would be so eye-watering, as they say in Britain, that I don't know if I could handle it. But hopefully I can join virtually. I'm really hoping they'll do a Hermes virtually this year too, even if they do it in person, because it's amazing. Yeah. So I love everybody here. It's such a great group, and just keep spreading the love. That's all I gotta say.
I have the
There's nothing.
What's that?
I have the warm feeling.
Yeah, the warm feelings. Yeah. Good.
What were you saying,
I
Lee?
was just going to say that there was nothing.
Oh.
There's nothing more heart twisting than to give a machine to somebody. I've given away so many of them, and I've got one I'm going to send to somebody that doesn't know what's coming, and it's like, I know they're going to love it way more than I do. I like it, but I don't love it. But, they said they missed out on one. So I thought, you know what, just send it to them. Just give it to them, and it feels good to do that, and I hope they appreciate that in return.
It does. It changes lives. It really does. I recently loaned a tower tabulator, my favorite blue one, to a little girl that's my daughter's best friend for the summer. And she was so excited. And the girls were, writing creative stories and stuff. She's a 10-year-old and my daughter's 10. But once she came over to visit and saw our typewriters, she was hooked. And I was like, okay. So I talked with her parents and I said, look, I'd like to hook you up with a machine. And it just feels so good to put those out there. And, I love it that you're doing that too. It just, it's good to collect. Don't get me wrong. I love collecting stuff and accumulating too. But I think that the goal of this is really to share the love of writing and these beautiful machines, get them back out there where people can enjoy them.
Exactly. Yep.
Good job.
You've got to see the driveway at Hermes.
I'd love
Down
to.
there. What goes on in the driveway down there is almost impossible to describe.
Wow.
Days of wheeling and dealing and gifting, and sometimes me offering people machines with bundles of cash just to take the typewriter. And it's all day and night. I think Dave's sitting over here. We might have given away or sold 100 down there over the years.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's fantastic.
I think the goal was always to try to come back with fewer than we went down there with. It didn't always happen. It didn't always happen that way. But you could see there was one time I remember that Herman was mad because an upstrike didn't sell out there, but 5 or 6 1960s portables did, and he thought that was just completely upside down.
Yeah.
But that's how it is. It's whatever anybody wants out there. The whole driveway is like the flea market for that event. You can see some amazing stuff there.
That's really fun.
Anybody know Maddie Allen? That name ring a bell?
Yeah.
Longtime collector. Friend of mine. She had a Wagner Underwood sitting out there last Hermes that ran before COVID. That Wagner Underwood sat there for 2 days. And there's portable selling. She's like, "What do I got to do this thing?" I said, "Don't drop it under $200. That's a $400 typewriter." It was a 4, wow. And she finally sold it privately. But yeah, it's backwards now. All the portables sell down there now, and you can sit there with a Yoast, and it'll catch dust.
Yeah, I love portables. I have to admit that the big ones are just so heavy to lug around and stuff. They're cool. They're fun to experience, but I'd rather leave those for the other collectors.
Right.
I like the smaller ones. Yeah.
Maybe it has something to do with people having to fly in to attend and not being able to
There you go, Eric.
take it back on the plane.
I know.
Oh, it's more people are using them now instead of just collecting to have them and look at them and study them.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say every machine that I've sold in the last year has been to somebody who wants to journal, wants to start writing, get back into that thing. And a lot of it has been prompted by the pandemic, of course. Mm-hmm. So it's just wonderful. My dream, if I had $1 million, there's this really cool old like vintagey gas station type place down the street that's just an old building. And in my mind, it doesn't have gas pumps or anything like that, but it's just got this little driveway area and this cute little storefront and little bathrooms. And I would just dream of having like an outdoor type space where people could come and have like coffee, drive up in their motorcycles, sit down, do some typing, just
that
have
might
like
take $1 million. That might take $1 million. Yes.
I would totally take $1 million. And it's down the street. It's in this perfect location right by the school. Like people would be into it, but I just don't have the funds for that kind of thing. I dream about it every time I drive by. Like I can totally see Bob Marshall, driving up with his typewriter, sitting down, people gathering and, sitting out at tables with their coffee and stuff. He's so
biking
cool.
up. He's a motorcycle guy.
Yeah, biking up, exactly.
We knew you were envisioning him when you said people drive up on their motorcycles. I'm thinking, well, that's just Bob.
I know, right? Wait, I think Joe Van Cleve drives.
Hey, he's got a scooter.
He's got a scooter. Yeah.
Oh, he's got a scooter. Well, that counts. It's a little.
Yeah, sure.
It's a little two-wheel bike, a little putt-putt.
Yeah. Call it the type and putt.
Type and putt. Yeah, I know. I had so many ideas for names. You know who's got some great business names is
Bill Guthrie.
Bill Guthrie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tap and all that stuff. God, his logos are fantastic.
Yeah.
I just wish that I were a millionaire and could just like throw money his way so he could open up all these cool cafes.
I know, huh?
So great. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
The guys that run our local typewriter repair shop, they wish that they could find somebody to buy it.
Really?
Yeah.
Aww.
It's like they're in their mid to late 70s and
they're getting tired of it.
Keep on doing it, but they can't keep on doing it forever.
I know. Say hi, Kitty.
And Sean, I have 11 Smith Premiers. Since you asked the question, it's like, I replied in the chat, but I figure, well, you'd kind of like to hear it in, out loud. So yeah, I have 11, although a couple of them are for parts, just because one came to me as parts. So.
Yeah, and those are not small typewriters.
They are not.
We're portable Smith Premiers.
What?
There are portable Smith Premiers.
Oh yeah. Oh.
Yeah, but I'm really only into the upstrikes.
So you don't like the 10 and later?
What?
You don't like
the Smith Premier number 10 and later?
I have the Smith Premier 10 and basically it's not so much just the upstrikes, it's the double keyboards. that I like. So yeah, I like the Smith Premier 10.
That's great. Those typewriters are for you, Diane.
Yeah. Yeah. You're welcome to them.
That's the great thing is there's a genre for all of us, right?
I know, yeah.
I mean, I have one really big. I've got a Royal KMM, and I consider that as big as I want to go. And I keep meaning to fix the feet. I might do that today while I'm listening to you guys, but I get really lazy about it because of the size. Because I don't want to hurt myself. So. Yeah. I know.
Now, is that a normal carriage or is it wide carriage?
Just normal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, normal carriage.
Yeah, because I had the Royal FPE and that was a wide carriage. It was just.
Oh my goodness, that's just like it's like owning an airplane or something. You need a hangar for that thing.
It cracks me up when I see the pictures of the typewriters that have the super wide. I don't know if they're like 24-inch or
those are funny, yeah.
It's like, really? Like, how do you even use that? And why?
Someone maybe like blueprints or something. Would they use it for that, or was it for newspapers? What was it?
Yep. Will says yes.
Someone near me was selling a massive machine the other week. It must have been going on 2.5 feet wide.
Oh.
It was huge. It was a Selectric too, so it was like a 16-inch carriage Selectric with that, and it was the Selectric 2, the boxy one.
Oh my
I have no idea how they got one that size.
Yeah.
But
that has to have been for an architecture firm or something like that. They're just loading pages.
Maybe because they painted it silver for some reason. I don't know why.
Oh, interesting. So it's like in a factory or something, or industrial.
Yeah, along the wide carriage standards, you'll notice that they have decimal tabulators. Like the Remingtons will have it along the front rail. The Royals will have it up in front of the basket. A lot of those are account.
Okay. That helps.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one does not have that.
Yeah.
Brian's got one.
Oh yeah.
Man, I'm just loving your background, Gregory. It looks so good. Sorry,
Brian's
type. I was wondering.
Oh, there's Brian.
That's this is a Selectric 3, by the way.
Oh,
so
okay.
A little bit
you
different.
Recently picked that up, right?
Oh wow.
Yep. It's got the light up things.
Paper guide or
paper scales. Yep.
Yeah, that was so cool. I love seeing your pictures of that.
Yeah.
I've never seen them light up like that before. That's really fun.
It is pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's very heavy. So.
Brian, you make that look really light, but I realize it's on your lap.
He does.
And this is the extra long one. This is the 15.5-inch. So it's probably the same as the one you saw.
Wow.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, he makes it look like it weighs like,
don't hurt yourself.
3 pounds or something, and it's like 40 pounds.
Yeah. Even the small variants of those things are big.
Yeah.
I have an SR 101 that runs.
Really?
Wow.
That's unusual.
Yes, it is.
Cool.
Now, Peter, since I believe you're new, so did you just a brief introduction?
Sure. My name's Peter. I just joined Type Pals a couple weeks ago. I tried to join earlier, but my basement little typing den here is also a common area, so the family decided to invade. I've been doing typewriters for about a month now, maybe 2 months.
Oh.
And it was the collision of about 3 or 4 passions for me. Mechanical devices, antiques, creative writing, and also deal hunting. I love to hunt for stuff like this one, this one's become one of my absolute favorites. I don't know how you can see it, but that's a wood stock.
Oh wow!
That is so beautiful. I love it.
I can find 0 references to this model.
It looks like a Royal KMM from the side, but then when you turned it, it said Woodstock, and I was like,
Peter, is that a segment or carriage ship?
Carriage.
That's a 6.
Okay. Okay, so this is a Woodstock 6, huh? Okay, I could not find out the model name. It's not on the database, but
Yeah,
this
they
is
stopped using model numbers on them. They stopped putting the model number on the machine during a 5, and then after they did that, everything's a 5, and then they changed to that. Everything's a 6, if I remember right. Ted's probably got the serial numbers right in front of him.
yeah. Yeah. This is one of my two. This was until you just explained it to me. This was one of what I call my mystery machines. I have one more. As a matter of fact, I'll grab it here in a second. But I have another one that I cannot find anything on.
We like mysteries.
Yeah.
Let's see the mysteries.
Is
All
that
right, hold
got
on a
chrome?
second.
Is that got chrome plate knobs too?
It looks like
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
I was looking at the chrome on that. It is absolutely
Yeah.
gorgeous.
Fancy.
Yeah. Sexy, sexy.
Loving the chrome. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of companies rebranded and, you know, shared their patents with each other. So sometimes stuff comes through and you'll be like, what is this? And it's really that. So
yeah.
It's a Remington noiseless.
That looks
Yep, it
noiseless.
is.
Yeah.
It is.
Wow.
Now, here's why I find this one to be mysterious. According to the serial number, this is a Model 11 Quick Strike from 1937. However, it's kind of unique because it's got a little bit, instead of the straight front like the 10 has, it's got a little bump right here. But the reason that I say this is mysterious is that every time I look up pictures of Model 11 Quick Strikes, I don't see a single one in this gray with Remington Rand at the front. They're always black with Remington in gold lettering. I don't know if this was an optional other color scheme that they had.
You
I
have
mean, it
just
looks like a
discovered the exact reason why I put the On the Margin blog together. That is a factory rebuilt typewriter. And
Oh, it's a rebuild.
many times,
That knows it.
collectors would start compiling data. This happened years ago. I'll tell you two very quick stories. A friend of mine was compiling data on Royals for Ted Munkus as Ian Brumfield. And he was looking at the decals on them. And the decals were changing over time as he was compiling serial numbers. And some of them were smaller stuff, some were bigger. And I said, well, these are factory rebuilt. Probably, I don't know, Dave can help me out here. 3 years ago, 2 Wagner Underwood showed up at the same time, both of them number ones.
Yeah.
One of them said Underwood Typewriter Company on the back, and a few people said, oh, that means the Wagner lasted long enough to be Underwood. And I said, no, that means it's factory rebuilt, and they rebuilt it late enough that there were no Wagner decals left. They put on what they had, so it says Underwood on it. So rebuilds like that one over there, as I look at my screen, throw you off when you start to try to compile straight by serial number list or straight by advertising in magazines. You look up 39 or 37 Remington ads to try to see what it should look like factory, and that doesn't match it. One alarm that a typewriter is rebuilt post-World War II is that it has some or a lot of gray crinkle paint on an otherwise black typewriter.
No, this is absolutely that case.
If Dave is going to get what I think he's going to get, you're actually going to get to see a typewriter on here. I lied to you.
Okay. I will be, okay, I'll put this away.
that's really interesting. And how do you tell if it's not just a repaint that somebody did? Because people wouldn't really repaint in gray that much.
The decals probably.
Will, you need to unmute yourself. Oh.
Hey.
Ah, there's an interesting piece.
Yeah.
Still muted, Will.
Unmute Will.
You're doing wonderful pantomime, though.
Oh,
Reconditioned at Remington Noiseless Factory.
Oh, look at that. Isn't that cool?
Wow.
Okay.
Okay, interesting.
There is a little plate on the back of mine. I'll have to take a look at it. But
That is interesting.
Yeah.
Click and
Yeah,
clap.
you're
You
still-
guys need to unmute yourself.
you're still muted.
Oh, this one also has an insert on the right shift key to tell you that it's rebuilt. But otherwise, typewriters like you just showed there were available post-war. The most extreme example, I have an open-sided Underwood 5 that's all over gray crinkle with a red logo on it. And that's probably rebuilt about 1950, 51, something like that. So the typewriter lasted 30 years. It's conceivable that might be like a second or third rebuild.
Okay.
Was it really economical to do that? Because
hugely economical. Yeah.
Absolutely.
They were expensive.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. They guys like Harry A. Smith would advertise in trade papers, which is seen by the shop owners, that he would buy machines in lots of 10 to 100. And he would take those to his factory, and you have two choices. You can either go 8 for 10, where you tear down 10 typewriters and hope to get enough parts to sell 8 rebuilt, or with typewriters still in production, and he would do that with something like a Harris Visible or a Victor number 2 or 3, whatever. For typewriters still in production, you get parts. So the Underwood machines, you'd be able to sell all the typewriters you got in to rebuild, but you're having to buy brand new parts. But still, you can sell on enough volume with the machines you're selling being roughly 50% of the cost of a brand new typewriter and a 1-year warranty. You could move as many of those out the door as you can rebuild. Again, this holds for any time from about 1896 to about, well, the start of the Second World War.
Yeah.
The typewriter shops would take trade-ins, and they knew they would take the trade-ins, give you a little off, and they'd sell the machines to rebuilders, or some of them rebuilt them themselves.
I wonder if that was sort of prompted by wartime, like, reduction in metal availability,
So it did, the rate in rebuilding and the desire for such and cost thereof ebbed and flowed with war and economy. So major typewriter shortage right after the First World War. Anything that can be rebuilt, even junk typewriters, will sell, but for a low price. It comes and goes, but rebuilding really started around 1895 and in earnest around 1905. It's far older.
That's amazing,
than most
because
people.
that's so much closer to the time that they were really invented, that they were already starting to rebuild really early on. That surprises me.
People recognized early the value inherent in the machines and the fact that secondhand they were fine. I have I'm trying to think of what the date was, but there were upstrike blind writer standard typewriters available rebuilt for like $15 to $18 as late as about 1930.
Wow. Can we get a time machine?
Yeah. So if all you have to do is type one circular for the pegboard at the church once a week, that's all the typewriter you need. And it has a warranty.
Yeah, and typewriters were expensive, like new technology at the time. So don't think of what we're buying them for today, right? These were thousands of dollars in our money now.
I saw a Remington ad from the 50s, and it listed the prices as being $75 to $150, and I went and I looked it up, and that's like a 10-fold increase. It's like $750 on the low end of that today.
Yeah.
And that was just for the portable models. That didn't count the big ones.
Yeah.
That's a nice late Smith Corona standard you've got there, Peter.
Oh, this one, my Big Mama, this thing, the big one.
Big Mama.
This is a huge one. Yeah, I paid $12 for this.
Wow.
At an antique mall. Actually, most of these came from antique shops. I have an advantage. I am possibly the only typewriter collector within 150 miles, because you see my you see, and there's also this 1918 hiding in the corner here.
Oh wow.
Never move to California, I'm telling you, Peter. It's not
But you seeing my standards, my big ones. What you don't see is the 3, 6, 9 portables to my left and the one to my right. No, 10 portables to my left.
And this is how many weeks work?
Yeah.
4 weeks.
A Smith Corona standard, very much like that one there, the real new one there, that's actually got a serial number higher than the Smith Corona production lists.
Wow.
When we bought it, Jay Ressler, I don't know if anybody remembers that name. He's passed away now. He had a bunch of the factory Smith Corona serial number lists, and it was higher.
Oh.
So Peter, what state do you live in that you're so?
Wisconsin.
I'm in Wisconsin, so you probably were the one that took 2 off of a rummage sale before I got there, about an hour and a half before I got there.
No, I haven't pulled from a rummage sale in a long time.
Well, somebody else is out there in Wisconsin rummaging.
And the only one I pulled was and the only one I pulled was a Quiet Deluxe. But this is the newest edition.
That is a beautiful
And boy,
example
am I-
of that machine. Wow.
Boy, am I glad I picked this one up. I paid $65 for this in Menominee.
Wow. That's a Lady
Wow.
Gaga typewriter, I believe. That's what she's got.
Underwood Universal. It's one of the best ones I have. It's in really great shape. And then I have 2 of them being shipped to me.
Wow, man. Amazing.
I happened to win. It was one of those, I bid on the auctions on eBay and I didn't intend to win them, but I did.
That's a good position to be in.
We've all done that,
tip.
haven't we? Haven't we all done that?
Yeah.
I think we probably
Here's an
have.
important tip. If you don't want to win the auction, don't bid on the auction.
Oh, Ted.
It's, yeah.
So practical, that guy.
Oh, you know, sometimes it's the easy things.
Ted will probably remember that back in the day when you could see eBay IDs, we used to bid on anything Herman Price bid on, just to make him
Just
pay
to
for it.
annoy him, huh?
Yep, just to make him pay for it. Yeah.
Make it pay for it through the nose.
Yeah, I'd see fishermen on there when you could see your IDs, and I knew who it was, or it would be Platinos, Chuck and Rich, and we just hammer each other on them. And I'd get the email within 5 minutes. You'd see that.
Yeah, I lost the one I really wanted but couldn't get was a Hermes rocket with a Greek keyboard.
Oh, cool.
But I was only prepared to go up to 150, and I think it sold for like 205.
Probably Herman.
Yeah.
I never got into bidding wars with those guys back then because, well, I don't know. I'm mostly a get them at thrift stores kind of guy. So
Yeah.
I like
You've
buying
found some
locally.
amazing ones too. Yeah.
Oh, it's matter of luck mostly, but
Mm-hmm.
I've just never gone out after machines that I'd have to have mailed to me. It was just I did it a few times, and I felt so guilty about what happened in shipping that I just could never bring myself to do it anymore.
Yeah.
We eventually started to drive to get anything that we spent a lot of money on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I definitely was nervous when I was packing that machine for Gregory, but I have a few little tricks. I use this special type of saran wrap that
That's
he was probably just
crazy.
I just have to pack it so well because I was like, this is really special. If I mess this up, I'm never gonna hear the end of it.
It took 10 minutes to get that saran wrap off. It's like a super sticky kind that, I mean, it's amazing. It has like a crinkle.
Yeah, it's called press and seal. The stuff
Yeah, press and seal.
Stuff,
Yeah.
I love
And
that stuff.
let me tell you, that stuff sticks.
It's really good for like making an on-the-go sippy cup for a kid or whatever. You just pop a straw in it. You put that thing over the top of a cup and you're
Oh,
good to go.
yeah.
So
Okay.
I love that stuff. I keep it around because it works so well and it doesn't like re-stick against the backside of itself. It only sticks on one side. So that's really good.
Yes.
But yeah, that stuff works really well. I knew you were going to be like, oh my gosh, Sarah, why all this?
I filmed a little video right after I had taken off all the press and seal.
I love that video. It's so good.
And I was like, Sarah, I have to take a break because it took forever to get this stuff off.
It was so much work, but it's like if I had damaged that machine, I would have felt terrible. So it was really important for me to just wrap it really, really well.
Well, you did.
Thank you. But yeah, I don't.
Somebody out there making platen knobs for those Hermes 3000s. Is that still going on? Ted might know.
Yeah, people still do it, but it's like
Pete Volz is doing it for a while.
There you go.
Texture though.
I don't know if he still is. I haven't heard from him in a while. I know.
Last I heard, he said he was.
Oh, okay. So maybe he just does it in spurts.
Yeah.
But he's got an STL file. He 3D prints them. So
to keep track of everybody, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's a guy in France here or something.
Jacques Pierre.
Jacques Pierre, yeah. who you can source original ones from, but it's kind of hard to get it to happen.
Yeah.
It takes time. It took me a long time to get a response from him, but then by the time I did, it was, not necessary, but yeah. He can get you the original ones, which I think would be a lot better than the 3D printed, because they're more like, they have a funny texture. They don't really seem like the real thing.
Yeah. Now I have to say, I don't know if anyone else noticed it, but I believe Kara put her typewriter on a P-pad.
Keypad?
Yes, I did. I did. It's just habit because that's what I use when I'm not flushing the segment right now. It doesn't need it, but that's just my habit that I put one under the typewriter because you can flush a lot of stuff through and then it gets all absorbed.
That's really clever. That's
We're in good shape with that.
Then it just kind of gels up, yeah.
And then
But
your typewriter is house trained after that.
Yeah,
exactly. Exactly. It won't go anywhere but on the P-pad.
Yeah, I saw her unfolding it. I was like, what is she doing with a P-pad?
Good eye, Jeffrey.
We have long meetings, but my goodness.
Yeah, it just absorbs everything. Like then I can flush merrily, and then don't worry about it getting on anything
down the stream.
Exactly.
Oh man.
Oh, great.
And Joe, how are you?
I gotta hand it to you. I wouldn't work on a typewriter live because of what I might say.
Oh.
I'm just cleaning the slugs. It's not likely to be a big swear fest. You never know.
Well, you sound like me, Will, because the few times I've attempted to fix things, I curse up a storm. That's one reason I don't
even see the ravine out back.
Yeah.
There's a lot of failed experiments back there.
Someday they'll come zombieing, stalking out of the ravine, the return of the living dead.
Oh no, they're quite dead.
Oh,
that's what they all say.
I'm sure they've got a collection of shotgun shells out there as well.
Yeah.
There might be.
They're only mostly dead.
Yes, Joe, how are you?
I am good. How are you guys this morning?
Hi, Joe.
Hi. Yay.
Morning, Joe.
We have an internet outage. My very terrible local CenturyLink phone system, and it was working last night. It must have been the fireworks. Anyways, so I have this cellular data thing I'm going on, so hopefully we'll be okay. But yeah, having fun here, just sitting down to the old Roma Calibri and getting some thoughts down on paper. I'm actually not really working on the typing prompt, but I'm just kind of throwing some ideas down for a video this week.
Okay, excellent. That's always a good thing.
Yeah, looks like we got some newcomers to the Type Club today, huh?
Yeah, quite a few actually.
Yeah.
Morning, Joe.
Good morning. Yep. Well, so what is everybody doing for the 4th of July? If you're in America here, what's
I'm just
party.
Blowing stuff up.
Gonna lay low and have some burgers.
Yeah,
sounds good.
we had some sort of military grade pyrotechnics last night in the neighborhood.
Oh,
so
wow.
yeah,
Probably be
I mean
happening
that's
around
kind of
this
what
night.
happens when the police just decide to quit enforcing the laws, which in Albuquerque happened about 4 years ago when they had that story about the homeless guy that the police shot and killed in the foothills of the Sandia Mountains, and then there was a big uprising, and then the cops decided, okay, we just won't enforce the laws anymore, and then you can see how much you need the police in your community.
Joe, that I need to tell you something. That story, that gentleman.
Yeah.
I went to middle school with him, and he.
Did you really? Oh.
Yeah, we actually were pen pals and friends for many years before he kind of went. He went mentally ill, but. I knew him in 6th and 7th grade, James Boyd. We were friends, and I have huge. I didn't hear about him being shot until a couple years later, and really a stunning, very sad story. But I went back to my storage and I pulled all my old letters out of there and made a notebook. But he used to do all kinds of art drawings and stuff. He was just a very troubled kid, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But it was interesting. It was the first time that police body cams were used, I think, in that situation, and it was quite revealing.
Yeah.
To see what happened. So
yeah, it's I know this is kind of rat holding the discussion down.
No, it's okay. I mean, most people don't know that I knew James Boyd personally.
No, that's
in fact,
an interesting.
Yeah,
it's
but
a small
I
world.
actually,
It really is a small world. But
he actually
my whole
used to-
point in mentioning that is because there's no real enforcement of fireworks laws around here. Because if you go, supposedly in the city, there's really strict laws. But if you go out of town to the east side of the mountains, there's a fireworks store in Moriarty that sells, almost like military grade fireworks year round. So there's no way, and also the Native American reservations sell fireworks. So there's no real way to enforce those laws, and the police aren't going to deal with it. So I feel sorry for people that have dogs and pets that are real sensitive to it. We don't, and so it's just a matter of putting earplugs in and just having your hot toddy at night, and hopefully you knock yourself out. But
I mean, I love air shows, and I love a good boom once in a while. Not when I'm sleeping,
Well, when I was a kid, we took a bus ride. Me, my two brothers, and my dad. We took a bus trip back to Ohio to visit my maternal grandparents who had a farm in southeast Ohio, and they had a fruit farm. But my uncle Doak, one of his hobbies was building fireworks, and he built the big ones, the giant aerial bombs. And he had a couple of mortars buried in the ground in his farm, outside the yard of his farm. And every Sunday night he would put on a show, and it was the big stuff that you see like in professional fireworks exhibits. And he had a whole, I guess the back room of he had a fruit store, a fruit store on the highway, where they sold fruit, but he had a room in the back, and all it had was glass jars on shelves, and all the glass jars were all the different, little round things and all the things you make into a big firework, so I can imagine if that store ever had a fire, it would have been catastrophic. But out in the countryside it's okay, but here in town it's a little, anyways. So happy 4th of July to everybody. We sort of have a military background in the history of our country, and not to get too political, but we kind of still have that in our culture. So there you go.
It's true. Yeah.
And other cultures don't quite understand America in that way, I guess. And I'm not sure if we understand it ourselves very well, but anyways.
I spent the last evening trying.
What's that, Patty?
I was just saying that I spent the entire evening last night trying to keep Tucker out of the bathtub. That's where he was heading all evening last night.
Oh, poor thing.
Yeah.
It's so hard on the animals. It is.
Yeah.
We do have problems with enforcement around here too, and it starts happening in June, and people are complaining about it. And there's not much that's done.
Well, I mean, I understand the fun of fireworks, but if you just stop and think about your neighbors with pets, it's kind of.
Yeah, and any veterans with post-traumatic stress or whatever.
Oh yeah,
it's super stressful for them.
Yeah,
so.
And all the wildlife, whether you have animals or not in your house.
That's true.
Can you imagine being a bird flying through the air and one of those things comes flying up and explodes? They have no reason to, think well.
We had those kids in the gorge that let off the fireworks and started that huge fire.
That's right.
Yeah, there are a lot of injuries every year. I have a friend who works in the ER, and 4th of July is always a big day at the ER.
Yeah, there's another story. I'm just full of stories, but when I was in probably, I don't know, 8th grade or 9th grade or whatever, I used to ride the bus to school, and I just walked up the street to the end of the block, around the corner, and the bus would pick us up in front of somebody's house. And I remember it was like the week after 4th of July. Kids were standing around waiting for the bus, and somebody had some fireworks, some black cats, but the fuses were really, really short. So they were like down on the curb trying to light these fuses. And there was, of course, it's Albuquerque. There's sand everywhere, right? So they lit the fuse and threw it in the gutter, and it exploded right when it hit this pile of sand, and it peppered the eyes of one of the kids with sand, like boom. So his eyes got hurt. So that's just another little thing you see on in going to school, right?
Terrible. Yeah. Hey Joe.
Yeah.
How's your office remodel going?
Well, I'm currently like in one half of the office, and I this bookcase behind the bookcase right there is sort of been remodeled, or at least not as cluttered. But the whole rest of the office, my big corner unit desk, is all cleared off, and everything that was in there is in boxes. And we're going to disassemble that corner unit desk and give it away, and then I'm going to have 2 6-foot office desks in a row along this one side that I'm at. So kind of, if I turn this around, I don't know if my phone charger will reach. This is basically my little corner nook. Just in the corner of there's my little Zeppelin poster.
Oh, that's cool.
And my old typewriter calendar from last year that I was too lazy to retype a new sheet. So I'm just, I just marked it. But and by the way, if you make a typewriter calendar pages, it really helps to use an electric typewriter because you're doing a lot of guidelines, with the dashes and all that. And it's just a lot quicker to have that auto repeat, with an electric type bar machine, right? Yeah. So I'm stuck in a little corner here, but I actually kind of like it because I have this open window right next to me. Oh, yeah. And I get a little fresh air and all that. So anyways, yeah. So, and I started a new video series, the Camcorder Diaries. And I have a little $200 El Cheapo camcorder I have a little light attached. So at nighttime, I can just turn it on, but you just sort of flip it open, and then the camcorder comes on, and then you can just hit the button and start talking and all that. So yeah, that's going to be kind of fun. Except my wife is very self-conscious of being on the air, so I'm going to have to figure out other funny things to say and do.
But she always looks so nice on video. You can tell her that,
I agree. She doesn't. She's like very self-conscious, but like a lot of women are, about their appearance. But yeah, she has a really nice personality, and she does need to be on camera more. So. Let's see.
Joe, I'm a little disappointed of your camcorder. I was really hoping when I saw your first video on that you were going to have one of the big shoulder-mounted ones with the head.
Well, I actually
that's really what I was hoping.
I think it's this right here is a Sony Height Handycam, so a tape-based camcorder. In fact, that's the camcorder that I recorded all that old footage on. Or maybe I had a Canon Hi8 from back in the 80s. Anyway, if you saw that short video I did last week, that old footage of a young skinny Joe was recorded on camcorder tape. I have a bunch of those old tapes, but digitizing them is kind of a process, and it takes some time. But I would be using one of my Panasonic cameras, right, which are very nice for video, but I kind of like the cruder, little bit lower fidelity aesthetic of the old camcorders, right? Yeah. So anyway, that's what I like it. But anyway, that's video stuff right there. So I got the Groma Calibri set up right here, and someone in a recent, if you saw my last mail time, someone gave me this a bunch of Japanese paper, and this is a Muraman notepad, right? And it's unlined paper and it's perforated so you can tear them out. But this turns out to be really good. It's almost like Tomoe River quality paper. Because they're perforated, you can take them out and tap on them. And that's kind of what I'm doing here. And it has a really nice imprint, and it's also really good for printing, obviously, too. You got to give the Japanese people a hand for the quality of paper they make. I really like it.
The best paper. Their paper is so cool. I love like the Japanese stationery stores and just touching it all and seeing all the pencils and everything.
Yeah, it just reminds me of, there's something about their culture, I guess, and it goes back, 1,000 years or more, but their connectedness to the materials that they work with.
Yes.
Is really special, right? There used to be a Japanese import shop in Albuquerque called Yanamoto's. And this was back in the early 70s when I was a kid, but that's where I first got interested in the abacus, or the Japanese soroban, from that shop. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So if anyone makes it up to New York, there are a couple Japanese bookstores and Japanese stationery places. I'm thinking of one that's right across the street from Bryant Park, and you go down into the basement, and 2 of the entire walls are just lined with notebooks and papers and anything you could possibly imagine. And then they have, if you remember like the gel pens from like the 90s, they have an entire row full of every color of like the jelly roll pens that you could imagine, all kinds of pencils. It's pretty great to go down there.
That sounds like heaven.
I go down there, and there's no cell service once you get down there because it's, you know, a cement brick building. So I go down there and lose track of everything else in the world. And before I know it, I've been there for an hour, hour and a half. And
Awesome. Just send a letter from there.
Help me.
Well, so in the process,
God, help me.
I was going to say, in the process of having to pare down my desk situation temporarily to this smaller desk, I've had to kind of decide what's important to have next to me, you know, and what's not as critical. Because when my old office was just crowded with everything, and you know, there was no priorities. But this looks like a Leica camera, right? Like I have a Leica camera. It's actually not. It's just a metal tin box, and that's fake. That's just shiny plastic or whatever. But in this camera, I keep all my thumb drives.
Oh, it's a decoy.
It's my archive for my
Little decoy.
my backup, my decoy. Yeah, but I'll show you guys another little thing here. Let me take the phone off the holder if it doesn't freak out. So
But is it really a good idea to put all your thumb drives in something that somebody's going to want to steal?
Exactly. That's what I was
maybe.
thinking, Sharon.
Yeah, I know. It's the most important. So this is a calculator collection right here.
Oh.
And I've probably shown you guys some of these before, like this old Sharp with a green fluorescent tube display. And of course, the classic old Hewlett Packard scientific calculators and just a bunch of old stuff, you know.
Oh my goodness.
There's old, yeah. Anyway,
Do you have one with
I don't
the
know.
red, Joe? Do you have one that has
You
the
know,
red?
I do. Yes, I have an early Hewlett Packard. It's in the back of the drawer. It
Oh,
belonged
cool.
to a friend of mine, and it's it's like an HP 31 or something like that. One of the early ones with red LEDs, and yeah.
Had that when I was a kid. Those are so fun.
So I remember in the early 70s going to high school, the first electronic pocket calculator I saw was a Sinclair. And that was the British company. You remember the Clive Sinclair guy that they made the little small computers back in the maybe late 70s, little plastic wedges with a membrane keyboard. This Timex Sinclair computer.
Sinclair 100, 1000s, yeah.
Right. Before they made those, the ZX81, they were doing electronic calculators back in the early 70s, and they were reverse Polish notation, RPN. And they were tiny little, kind of long, skinny little calculator with it was almost a purple colored, a red LED display, as I remember. And I think some of them were actually sold in kit form. You could assemble them yourself.
Wow.
But I haven't found any early Sinclair calculators. They're probably fairly rare these days. But I had started collecting these calculators when I was a kid. Hey, there you go. What is that? A Casio Estimate? Yeah. I started collecting them in the early 70s, and a lot of the early ones had that bluish green fluorescent tube display, and they sucked batteries. You know, like 8 AA batteries or something, and it only lasts a couple hours or whatever.
Here's something for you then, Joe.
Yeah.
You see this? This is a Heradas Technica. This is a Hungarian license-made copy of the Bomar 901.
Oh, nice.
Licensed to Bomar, Canada. 901, non-replaceable battery. Yeah, I collect calculators too now.
Oh, cool. The more obscure, the better.
Bunch of those over there, huh?
Isn't
more
there
obscure
a
the better, right?
calculator? Isn't there a calculator somewhere that is like an update to the Hewlett Packard reverse Polish ones, but they're actually made by somebody else now? Somebody in Europe is making one that's really kind of a high-end build quality.
There's a bunch of RPN early ones, more out there than you might think than HPs. Yeah.
But somebody is remanufacturing a new version of one that
Interesting.
that's really like high-end, like sort of like Apple iPhone kind of high-end, build quality kind of stuff, which that sounds like a whole nother, rat hole that you'd find yourself going down into as calculators.
Yeah.
Like I have a Burroughs comptometer. That's the only old style adding machine I have. And I really purposefully haven't collected any others because they take up too much room. But I love the comptometer.
Sarah earlier said there's a gas station down the road that she wants to buy. We do have a gas station cash register.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't
the
have
comptometers, the comptometers are cool because you can enter all the digits simultaneously. There's a row of 0 through 9, and you can enter them all simultaneously. You don't have to do them one at a time. So if you have the right finger technique, they're actually faster than any adding machine or calculator.
Clarys and Coronas like that too. I've seen.
Yeah,
I've got a Corona down there in the vault.
Ah, yes. Well, that's about it for me. We're gonna have some friends come by later today for our afternoon 4th of July ceremony and have some fun. Party. You're invited, Ted. If you get on the road now, you can make it about 5 o'clock when we're going to be having the burgers on the Barbie.
All right, I'll be there.
Okay.
Hey Joe, did you hear about Gregory's new machine?
No. What did he? Oh, is that the Hermes 3000? Is that what I? And it came from you, right? Is that what I understand?
Yes.
Guilty as charged.
Yes. Well, that was so generous of you.
Yeah.
And so
we worked out a good deal.
you have a very tender heart, Sarah. And
He really does.
Gregory, what do you think of that Hermes 3000?
Well, I was saying earlier that I feel like my search for the perfect typewriter is over.
Yeah. Well, I've kind of felt that way myself in the sense of that I have a few machines that are really good. I have, 2 Hermes 3000s, the older curvy style and the 70s style, and they're both equally good. And I have, a number of good, the Optima and a Silent Super that's been totally new rubber, and just a number of really good typewriters. Even this little Calibri now that I added, I fixed the escapement issue. I added a stronger spring onto the escapement rocker a few weeks ago or months ago. Anyway, all these typewriters I have are left in my collection. They're all really great. The KMM, the big, so it does kind of feel like to me that, there's no urgent need in my part to need another typewriter, and especially with a number of electric type R machines that are just great for real writing, serious writing. But nevertheless, every one of you guys out there knows that there's a certain thrill you get when you walk into a thrift store or something like that and find a new typewriter. Even if you don't need it, there's still, right? There's still the thrill of the chase and the hunt, right?
Yeah. I bought the first typewriter I didn't need 20 years ago, and it never really stopped.
Yeah. 20 years of not needing them, but still getting them. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, and then of course there's always the problem of when you live in the real world with a family in a limited size house, you have to consider there's only so much space, right? And you have to consider your family, your partner, whatever, and their concerns. And that's kind of been my issue, is I've had to learn to, to not go out every weekend looking for typewriters. It's like looking for trouble. It's like, I'm not going to get in any trouble. I'm just going to go down to the bar and have a few drinks, that kind of analogy, right? If you just stay away, right? So anyways, it is an addiction, I think.
Yeah, it can be. I mean, I think there's no shame in accumulating a few more great machines.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, it could be a lot worse, right? It could be collecting. yeah.
Right. But it's wonderful to have ones that, just work really well, that feel good to work on. And,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I do see myself continuing to collect. It's just not at the pace that I was doing. And maybe it'll be more like I'll get something, I'll fix it up, I'll do a video or something about it, and then I can eventually pass it on to somebody else or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to keep them, right? Yeah.
Right.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
That for me is kind of part of it, is just experiencing the different typewriters, because they're all a very different experience. So
sure
they are. And it's nice to contrast and compare the various machines, right?
Yep.
Some are very bad, some are very good.
Yes,
that is true.
And I know there's a lot of professional typewriter repair people out there, but there's even more of us amateur repair people. And if we can at least do our part to get the machines out of the dumpsters and the thrift stores and fix them up, clean them, put new ribbons in them, and get them in the hands of other people, right? That'll do a lot to continue their lifetime.
Yes.
Yeah. And Joe, I've been really inspired by you and how you've done that, and it's encouraged me to put typewriters into the hands of people that appreciate them too. So
well, good.
So I don't
Thank
feel
you.
bad. I mean, it's all good,
I got a letter that reminds me, our friend Javier. I got a Riverside, California letter from Javier, and he's saying, "Dear Mr. Van Cleef, how is the channel going? I was going to write this in a letter, but I have pain in my right arm since I'm left-handed, and I will have problems typing with pain in my arm." So he has something going on with his arm. But anyway, there's his little letter. It's kind of nice to get. I have a fan club guy here. he's the young guy that I gave the Hermes rocket to. So.
Oh, right. I remember we were going to give him one. That's awesome, Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was an example, of a machine that was okay, but I just didn't find myself using it very much. Right. And there's a lot of machines like that. There's nothing really wrong with them. It's just I didn't get on with them. I think I was thinking the other day last week about how many typewriters have I had in my possession that I eventually got rid of, and there's quite a few. There's 3 letter 22s that I've had over the years. And, they were okay. Maybe they had some skipping issues that I couldn't resolve, but I ended up finding myself not using them. I guess I don't like Olivetti's is what it is, just the touch. I had a Olivetti Underwood 21 for many years, and it was okay. It was a little big for the desk, the table, and there were other machines that I liked better. I had more recently the Studio 45. It was a pretty machine, turquoise blue, but I didn't like the touch at all.
Oh.
And there's been a bunch of machines like that. I think when I was over in Phoenix a few years ago, I sold my Corona 4 and my Underwood Universal. They're great typewriters, old classic pre-war typewriters, but I just wasn't using them as much as others. So it's just a good idea to pass it on to somebody else.
Yeah, definitely.
If you have to sell it or give it away or whatever the process is, but just to pass on the love and instead of hoarding it in the closet.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So we do have
a question for everybody.
Yes.
I've only been in this less than a year, and I think I've seen all the YouTube videos that are kind of interesting about typewriters, and I think we need more. We need a lot more videos about typewriters, because there's a lot more territory, weird things that you run into that needs to be covered. So
have you watched all of them? Because Joe has 280. How many? So many.
Something like that, yeah.
Have you watched all of those?
268. 268.
Yeah, because I know I haven't watched all of them. They're amazing. And Dwayne Jensen, all of his repair videos.
Yeah.
And then I would say during lockdown, I really did watch a lot of videos. But
if you can find ours, you'll find the most obscure corner of typewriter videos on the internet, but they're out there.
Typewriter Justice. Who else? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm familiar with all of them.
Typewriter
But I
Mini.
think if we could brainstorm what we need next, I mean, and like put those ideas out there for people who do these things
Sure.
to, you know, feed on. I mean,
What
I
are you
would
not
like
seeing
to
that
see,
you want?
Yeah, I was gonna say, what would you like to see? That
yeah, I would like to see weird keyboard layouts. I mean, I think there's a real variety out there that, and what's rare and what's not so rare and all that kind of stuff. And also typefaces. I think we
Yes.
don't pay very much attention, especially in the YouTube folks. They'll demonstrate a typewriter in great detail, but never talk about the typeface,
Which is sort of
I
important.
think is, to me, if I'm using a typewriter, that's the main thing I want to know about, you know. And
Ted, do you
when
have
I've
any type
given
style
away-
guides?
I was gonna
Ted,
say,
do you have any
that
typeface guides published? Is Ted still on here?
Ted has
Oh, I guess he
a
stepped
whole
away.
thing inside the typewriter Bible. On the back, there's a whole section that's just nothing but typefaces.
Whose are they?
Yeah,
is
I
it by
think-
manufacturer or is it by the type manufacturer themselves?
It's by the manufacturer, and then within the manufacturer, it has the different styles that apply to each.
Depending on the book you're buying, right? Because if you got the
Yeah.
Olympia one, it'll show you all the Olympias, but it won't have. I don't think there's. I don't know if he's got a combined one.
I think the typewriter repair Bible has them all. I can grab it,
Oh.
but I'm pretty sure it has almost all of them.
Is it by Ransmeyer and Rodrian and then the other type makers, or is it by the OEM?
Probably the OEM. It's
I have mine open here.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
that's
That's
right.
Smith Corona. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's that page, but I mean, they're all here.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
And it also shows the keyboard layouts too that are available for some of them.
Right, exactly. And some of the, I mean,
Yeah. That's part of the dealer guides. Yeah.
yeah, the really obscure ones, the rare models, they probably don't have, but he's got all the standard stuff in those books.
I've got one for bar typewriters around here somewhere.
Art. Cool.
Well, manuals are all good, but I like, you know, I mean, I think to have things out there on YouTube is really interesting too, so that you're placing a particular unit and maybe and talking about touch, you know, I mean, Hermes has a particular touch. Olivetti, we've heard some complaints about that touch, and you know,
like
some
Olivetti
deep
touch.
dives into how you type and what you might like and stuff like that. I think those are dimensions that are not out there, and I really have found in trying to, as an amateur, fix things up. I run into weird problems that just aren't covered, you know.
What do you mean by how you type? I'm interested in that subject matter.
Oh, well, there's the people who do this, you know, kind of thing.
Like Gregory. And
Oh, I see. Different
And
fingering
if you're-
techniques.
Or
If
bottom
you're touch
typing, which is a
typing-
common scourge of the repairman.
What's that? What's that, Will?
Bottom
No,
typing is
just-
when you
just for it.
follow the key all the way down and hold it.
Oh.
And it causes the typewriter to behave unpredictably. Blur, skip, what have you. The only machine I know of that you can adjust to that's deliberately built to adjust to allow bottom typing is a Halda standard. Everything else, you're instructed that if the person using the machine is bottom typing, to try to get them to stop it. Yeah, we have a video. We did a video on that. I talked about that on YouTube years ago. We did a video talking about type style, the mechanism of the machine, and bottom typing is in there. I will try to put a link to my YouTube channel on Austin Typewriter Inc. When this all gets done.
Yeah, do or even in the chat, so that we have access to it, because I don't think I've seen your videos, which sound like they're, you know, deep dives into different things.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah, it's the obscurest corner of the rare and unusual on typewriters on the internet. But we did them years ago to fill a hole. You know, it was on purpose to fill the hole.
I was going to recommend that you might want to consider starting a blog, and whenever you post a video, just put a link to it on your blog, and then have your blog put onto the blog roll of the Typosphere blogs, and that'll give you more.
Blogs
okay.
That have been up for about 15 years. The oldest one,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, just link
I
every.
know Monk's got us in there.
Okay,
Yep.
link every video onto your blog, and that way they will show up on the most recent blog roll. Because a lot of typewriter people follow the typewriter blogs, and that'll drive traffic to your videos. It'll cross-link it, and also if you post the video, a link to it onto your Facebook or onto one of the typewriter Facebook groups whenever you post them. That'll also drive traffic and attention. I'm bad about not putting every typewriter video on the Facebook groups, but that is a good way to drive traffic. And because I'd like to see more of your videos. I wasn't even aware of your YouTube channel.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You're for a surprise. This is fun.
Somebody put it in the chat.
And Monk means that. Monk.
They are fun. They're great conversations.
Yeah, I hadn't heard of it either. But Monk was saying that you're the click and the clack of, the typewriter, that you guys know car talk. So that's kind of a wonderful
we are
compliment,
from pretty far back in the typewriter collecting history world, along with Ted there.
Yeah, you guys go back a long ways, I know. And I think maybe what I could do to help is on YouTube channels, you can have a list of other channels that you follow. And I could create a list of all the popular YouTube typewriter channels. And then, people can just go to that list and they'll find you and other typewriter people.
Ours is old and unpopular, so that'll be a misnomer.
Exactly. Well, it's just nice to aggregate a lot of things like that in one list. That's why the Typosphere blog is so popular, is because you can see everybody's update in a sequential order. As
I remember when that all
blogs.
started.
Yeah.
I remember when that all started. When e-groups collapsed. I'm looking over at Dave over here. Back when e-groups collapsed.
Yep.
Got to keep moving with the times.
Yes.
Exactly, Ted. We try to stay about 5 years behind.
Well, those of us who are bloggers are definitely 5 years behind. So
Gregory, I wanted to. So these are the typefaces that are available, but were available for the Smith Premier 1 according to its manual.
Ah.
Ooh, tall
The
Roman.
merits are plainly seen. I love the writing in these old manuals.
Oh, I know. It's a total trip.
It's so elegant. Yeah.
Very
so
nice.
formal.
I've got a question for Will. Speaking of Jay Respler, as you were a while ago, was anybody able to actually get copies of his Smith Corona lists? Because I tried for several years and was not able to do that.
I think Will stepped away for a second. I know that we used to try to communicate with Jay Respler. Will, they were just asking if we were able to get any data out of Jay Respler. That was like pulling teeth, trying to get those numbers out of him. And he would say, I'll get back to you. And I got that somewhere. And then we probably got about 3% of what he had. So I think there's probably a lot of information lost there.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is a tragedy.
Yeah.
Oh, now I can't hear Will. He's talking. I can't hear him. Still can't hear him.
Still can't hear you, Will.
But the pantomime is wonderful.
Yeah.
I don't see that he's muted, but I still can't hear him.
Yeah.
Something that's.
I think that happened earlier too.
Oh,
Yeah.
How's that?
That's better.
There we go.
There you go.
Okay. Yeah. Respler had the serial number lists. He said he had them from Smith Corona Street because he was a Smith Corona dealer.
Mm-hmm.
And many of us for years on the old Yahoo typewriters forum, you remember that one?
Yep.
Anybody out there remember that one? Yeah. We would implore him to just publish that information, and he never would. You had to give him a serial number, and he would give you a date, and he never published just stacks of information. It wasn't until Dirk Schumann started TWDB, which was the genesis, I think, of what you've got now.
Yeah, that was I basically built on what he built.
Yeah, nobody knows whatever happened to Dirk. Did you ever find out what happened to Dirk?
I never did. I never found out. I know he probably died, but
That's what we figured. Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
at one point his credit card just stopped working for his domain name renewal and everything. So
It's a good sign.
yeah.
So, yeah, we figured that's what happened to him. But it wasn't until then that anybody started really taking the serial lists and put them online. And as far as what happened to all of Rustler's stuff in his shop, because I know he's a dealer, I have no idea what happened to it. And I don't know anybody that does.
That is a tragic
We don't
loss.
blame Jay though. I wouldn't have given it to us either.
I bugged him for years. I would send him an email every few months, trying to talk him out of it, but he just wouldn't budge.
Wow.
It was one of those old timers, like not quite as bad as Dennis Clark. Did anybody here know Dennis Clark?
No, not a fan. No.
That or Bob Albert, the old time generation that never gave you any information without something to trade.
Oh,
never told you anything unless you had something to give them.
I offered to buy that information off Jay, and he wouldn't
Really
budge.
You went back.
Wow.
Wow, that's funny.
That's
It was,
sad.
I figured if that was lost, that would be a terrible, terrible loss, and it's gone.
Yeah, I've been meaning to interview John Lewis right here in Albuquerque, and I've talked to him several times about it. And he doesn't really want to be interviewed, and his emphasis is always he's always thinking about business. Like he thinks that the reason for interviewing him would be to drive more business to his shop. And he's so busy right now, he doesn't want that. But I'm trying to convince him it's not about driving business. It's just about documenting you. It's the purpose of a documentary, is people are interested in your life and in what you've done as a typewriter technician all these years. And it's hard for people to get out of that mindset of everything is related to the business.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like an infomercial.
No. But wait, there's more.
Yeah.
People think they're going to last forever, and
I was holding up the Smith-Meyer type style guide earlier.
That was Diane.
That was Diane. Oh, bar typewriter, keyboards.
Oh, that's cool.
Nice.
So it sounds, Ted, like maybe should there be a typewriter Bible just of typefaces? Or at least
people have been talking to me about that, and I have a lot of type style information, but I don't feel like I have enough to make a comprehensive Bible of typefaces. And I don't know enough really, because a lot of companies bought from type houses, and a lot of companies made their own type, and I don't really know which ones did which. And so it's difficult. I mean, it would take a lot of study and a lot of documentation to make something like that worthwhile. I mean, I could put together a half-assed one, but
yeah. I wonder if somebody has written a book about that over in Europe, maybe in German or something. That
not that I've seen.
No.
Dan Linder is with us. He's from. Are you from Germany?
He's from Sweden.
Sweden.
Yeah, from Sweden.
Hi,
He's a
Dan.
Swede.
Do you know hi. Do you know if there are any like definitive guides on typefaces there in Europe?
I haven't seen one actually. I presume there, as you said, there should be one in German. I've never seen one in ever the Scandinavian languages, Swedish, Finnish, or Danish, or anything. But probably German. It's close, so it should be able to find its way over there. But I haven't seen it as of yet.
No, okay.
Sorry if my raspy voice. I was out on the town yesterday night, so a little bit. Sorry for that.
It's all right. You're among friends here.
Yeah, thank you very much.
I gotta go. I'll see you guys later.
Bye, Kara.
Bye, Kara.
Bye.
Bye. And I do see we have another Lee with us. How are you?
Yeah.
Oh, I got to turn
Oh, you muted yourself.
myself. Okay,
There
now
you
I'm
go.
unmuted. I was unmuted the whole time. Sorry about
Yes.
that. Oh,
There was
sorry.
no noise.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So how are you?
I'm good. I'm making buttons for Bob right now.
Buttons for
Ah,
Bob.
Oh, nice.
Buttons for Bob.
Oh, those
Almost
kind of
done.
buttons. I didn't know what kind of buttons he wanted. I couldn't
Yeah.
figure that out.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
So many buttons.
You weren't the only one who was confused.
Button, who's got the button?
Yeah, that really is my fault for not clarifying so well exactly what I needed. I had one man send me pictures of actual buttons that go on a jacket. I thought,
I was laughing so much at that. That was hilarious.
yeah, I did it all wrong. Lee, you're so sweet. Thank you so much for hooking me up. Yeah,
I love making buttons. I just wish I could make more.
Yeah, well, I'm excited to give them away at my presentation next weekend. So.
Good, awesome.
I wish I could come down there. I was looking at like the cost of flights and everything and how to possibly manage doing it because I would have loved to come, but I just
Well, I'm cool, but I'm not that cool. I don't blame you. Sarah.
You're pretty cool. You're pretty cool.
But I will.
That setting that you guys get to type in is just beautiful.
Oh yeah.
On that area, it just looks amazing.
Yeah, the atrium it's a good 1,000 square feet after walkways because you have to walk through it to get to anywhere else in the museum, and the museum is quite large. It's 2 stories and it's a historic building, and so naturally the atrium was used to exhaust all the hot air. So there's just tons of doors and open windows and whatnot. But no, it's a glorious space. They can only fit 70 people in there. And we had an email the other day. I think it's going to be a lot more than that. So it's very exciting. They talked about, well, we can break it up or we can move it next door to the municipal auditorium, so we'll see what last minute prevails. I'm very excited. People even want to listen to anything about typewriters. And of course, the running joke is usually people pay me to shut up about typewriters, not talk about them. So.
Oh, it's such a wonderful thing, Bob, and it's exciting to see, just the enthusiasm in the community for it. And I think that this is the perfect time to be doing this right at the end of the pandemic. It's going to get so much attention. I just think you're going to be having people want you to do this again and again. I believe that.
Yeah, no, I think so. Yeah, the local paper did a good write-up about me.
That's so cool.
That was nice.
How cool.
Love it.
I would love to go out there and visit too. I'm actually going to be going up to Colorado Springs this next week because my aunt passed away a month or two ago. We're having a memorial celebration at the Air Force Academy where she'll be interred. But anyways, otherwise I'd be going out to California right now to Riverside.
That would be beyond exciting. So I'll tell you what we will do. Gregory and I have had a good conversation about it. The answer is I will absolutely be recording it so I can, recast, upload the MP3 of that to the Austin Typewriter Inc. podcast. So that'll be available. But more excitingly, Gregory has agreed to film it and put it on this platform. So
we're going to stream it live.
Great.
Thank you, Gregory. That's awesome.
Isn't Gregory cool? I've got friends. Don't
know.
Connections, friends in high places.
You do. That's
Bob,
so neat.
Speaking of friends, Bob, how much money do you have?
Not
like
very
investments
much.
and
I spend
stuff.
it all on typewriters.
No, because I'm just asking, whatever money you have available, Sarah has a business opportunity for you that I think you'd be very interested in. It involves motorcycles and typewriters, and I think you could be a great partnership. And so Sarah, go ahead.
And also the extended warranty on your car is expired. So
no, by the
way. We've been trying to get a hold of you. We'd like to extend the warranty on your typewriter and motorcycle.
Yeah.
No, I have a pipe dream that I was telling them about this morning, Bob, where there's this cool old vintage, used to be a gas station kind of thing at property down the street from where I live. And it's just this neat little space where there's a little parking area in the front, no gas pumps or anything like that, but you can tell it used to be a service station of some kind. And I thought, wouldn't it be cool if we had $1 million to open up a little cafe where you could, ride your motorcycle, park it, do some typing outside, have little tables, just have a cool, I don't know, typewriter cafe destination. Yeah, it's just the neatest thing.
I think that's a wonderful idea. You can imagine, I've been approached lately. It's not something I can be public about, but somebody's very interested in something similar to that.
Cool.
And lucky, actually, I've been approached twice. So what it would be, one of them is through a grant. you know, there's all sorts of money through grants for literacy in this country. We're very fortunate in that. And I'm plugged into that. When I do typewriters for literacy groups that are interested in encouraging young people from certain demographics to type, right? So that stuff like that's really exciting.
That is.
And but the idea would be destination, you know, absolutely several thousand square feet. The motorcycle thing is a great idea, and that was kind of implied. How do you get people to ride to write, right?
Ride
and so
to
this
write,
is something.
yeah.
This
Or
is
just like
something
bring
I'm
your
always.
classic cars and show up. It would just be fun.
Oh yeah.
So you know the old classic 1970s movie about a gang of motorcycle riders comes into some town and raises hell. Well,
Is that
we need
Easy
to have.
Rider or no?
Yeah, we need to have that with typewriter people. A gang of typewriter people come into town and raise heaven maybe instead of hell. But,
and that what you just described is Herman Price's place.
Yeah.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
yeah. Or like in terms of ad hoc. So there is a shop that just opened up about a half mile from my house called Rust is Gold coffee shop, and the owner of the place is very much into motorcycles, right? And so I've been. They used to have another location that we actually had our Albuquerque Typewriter Club meeting there for a while, like back in 2019 or whatever. But yeah, so I'm going to be trying to bring typewriters to their little coffee shop more often now, and see if I can stir up some interest. The problem is they don't have that much seating area yet. Haven't really. Even the COVID thing is sort of semi-recovered here in New Mexico. They don't have as much seating as I would like to see for typewriters, but we'll have to talk to them and see about that.
I think that's wonderful, Joe, and I really need to embrace that, because the benefit is obviously at the end of the day myself selling a typewriter to someone, right? So it makes a lot of sense for me to really embrace that and have a good time with it, which is what I'm doing at the museum. Coincidentally, you know, they're reimbursing me for all my machines being there, which is great. But I absolutely agree with you. Whatever any of us can do, even if you picked an odd coffee shop and just put a typewriter in the corner that people can type out whatever they want to on it, just to remind them that the analog typing instrument is a choice that they can use in their writing. I think it'd be huge. I think it'd be a huge win-win. Or you pick a day during the week where you're there and you set up a few machines, you know, whatever you're comfortable with. I've gotten a lot of companies, businesses who have said, well, you know, can you set a typewriter up in the corner and let people? Yeah, absolutely. And I'm going to put my
Bolt
name
it
on
down.
it. Yeah.
Bolt it down to the table, of course, but yeah.
Yeah, well, you know, we'll see how it goes. Coffee shops, whatever.
Yeah.
A lot of it's downtown, but I agree with you, Sarah. I think destination's the way to go. And the big thing will be for groups similar to, you know, whether they're local writing groups. I just released that podcast where I talked about that. So you want to do your own typing event. And I just gave my 2 cents on it, because these were a lot of the questions people were asking me with setting up the, you know, the interactive art display of my machines. Although I've never considered my machines art, I'm very glad that other people are wordsmithing and making their own art on them, right? So
yeah,
I think that's a
Well, I noticed that you have that sort of poster that tells people how to use the machine. I thought that was terrific. And I also wonder, you know, wear and tear on the machines. If you start doing something like this on a regular basis, you're going to be doing some repairs. Like, you know, how do we manage that?
Yeah, I've got, I guess I could have mentioned that in the show I just did, but I've got a mobile case that I've spent maybe the last year really building. And what I do with the mobile case, if anybody else is interested, is I keep my mobile case in my dining room. And then if I need something, so then I'm purposely maintaining, repairing machines in my dining room. And if I need something, I come out to the garage, I grab it, I go inside, I put it in that case. And I put it in the case, you know, maybe I've cut a tool in half, maybe I've used a smaller bottle for, obviously I've got a bottle of lube and then a bottle of alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
And I've decided to carry alcohol instead of paint thinner. You know, these are all things, but this way I can carry this case with me, and it just looks like an overstuffed attaché case, brown leather. So it's very unassuming, which is good. If it said typewriter repair on it, I have a feeling as I'd walk down the street, people would throw typewriters at me and give them to me. here, take this old clunker. I don't want it around anymore.
Oh, I guess
you know,
that's true.
And
Yeah.
I love that joke of when you're carrying typewriters in your car, you need to roll up the windows and lock the doors so people don't add more typewriters to the collection.
Well, you know, yeah,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
I think it's going the other way now, though.
Yeah, I actually turned down a couple of big machines last week because they were just giant and rusty, and there was not really much hope for them. But yeah.
Well, you raised a good question. You raised a good question, Sarah, about type outs. That's one reason to have extra machines in your collection. Is just to have like something like a Galaxy 12 or some rugged, you know, good performing machine, right? That you don't want the delicate pre-World War II machines necessarily, right? You want some 1950s and 60s, you know, nice machines that everybody can get along with, right? And that's a good reason to have those extra machines in your collection.
Yeah, the Silent Supers or the, you know, Royal Quite Deluxe or whatever, but don't be sticking a Chrome Calibri in the corner.
No.
You'll never see it again.
That's right.
The most expensive machine I put in there was a 1931 noiseless, Remington noiseless. Is that a Model 5? No, Model 1. Model 1.
Oh.
And because it's noiseless, I knew that they wouldn't be, you know, they wouldn't be banging on the platen. I've already cleaned the slugs. People are having a really good time with it. The one that I've had to clean the slugs on twice, and I thought maybe something was wrong with the ribbon, but the ribbon's fine, is the SG1. Someone's going in there every day and typing a manifest. And I think that's and the ladies who work there have told me, like, that there's a certain someone and they come in almost every day and just type on this thing for hours, and they've moved the margins and they, you know, they've really gotten comfortable. But it's
you need to find out who that is and
get
them get a typewriter in their hands.
That's cool.
It's Ray Bradbury. He got
Stick a
tired of
camera in
renting.
that thing. Yeah.
Hey, I just kind of said it's doing fine. Whatever I need to do. Honestly, they're reimbursing me enough that I don't mind. I'm in there twice a week, you know, cleaning slugs and checking everything out. Nothing's been dropped on the floor. Everybody's very cautious. I went down. We do what's called a Riverside Arts Walk. We do a big arts walk downtown. A bunch of vendors come and set up. It's hosted by the city as well as the Riverside Life Arts Building, which is a large building we have downtown here full of studios for artists. Anywho, I was there for that, and there was a line to use the machines, and it wasn't young people, it wasn't old, it was everybody from the 5-year-old on up. And probably 10 of those people were there because they were friends of mine or other authors in the area, that type of thing. But for the most part, they were all strangers, and it was very exciting to see their reaction. I know my aunt, she's a docent, I think, at the local museum, but she was there last weekend, and she said, yeah, there was a huge line out the door. People just want to play with typewriters. So it's if I can do it, I think all of you can do it. Feel free to set up, have a good time, find a good way to make it all work. Are you here to tell me breakfast is ready, Mr. Marshall? Yep. Oh, look at that. Breakfast is ready. How exciting.
Nice.
Anyways, yeah, no, I'm having a lot of fun with it. And it's great to see that if it'll work somewhere like Riverside, you know, Riverside's a real middle of the road type of town. Yeah, we've got old money. Yeah, it's an old town. We're next to the river. We've been here hundreds of years. But if I can do it somewhere here, I think people can do it just about anywhere. And it's not about my customer. Let me think. I need to reiterate this. I know we all know this, but my customer is not the typewriter collector. My customer is a person who wants to journal, who wants to autobiographical, who wants to write fiction, nonfiction. Those are my customers. They're the people who are tired of staring at computer screens. Obviously, they're tired of being hacked. You know, I'm real close to Hollywood, so I get a lot of that. So I think it's okay to remember that our customers and people who are going to be into typewriters, my customers, people who are going to be into typewriters are the people who are average everyday people like you and I. They're not going to be typewriter nuts, and that's cool. So
I'm excited to see Gregory's video of people kind of just walking up to typewriters and those first moments, especially people who have never maybe touched a typewriter before. To me, that is just such a joyful thing to see. that, you know.
Yeah, there's a lot to that, and that's a good, because everybody approaches them differently, everybody looks at them differently. I've got all the colors of the rainbow, everything from that 1931 to a 1976 Erica, plastic. So it's amazing to see what people attract to. Is it color? Is it material? And it's amazing the demographic of what person attracts to what. The dad with the single dad with the 5-year-old daughter, what does he attract to? And I used to be that guy. I was, I've been a single dad a very long time. So it's very exciting from my point of view to see what people attract to. And there's a lot there. And I've gotten a few calls and a few, but nothing, there's no money in it. There's no major money in it. I think it'll all just be it'll be in reminding people that they have a choice to use an analog instrument like these guys, right? So,
Yep.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna go eat some breakfast, but I'm gonna stay on here. Thanks for letting me chat, guys. Good to see you.
Yeah.
Good to see you, Bob.
And remember, Lee's really saving my butt. I just can't thank her enough. It's been, yeah. Lee,
awesome.
thank you.
Thanks,
Who else
Typewriter
has a
Jesus.
button machine?
I love my button machine. No, it's fun. I'm happy to do it.
Excellent.
He's having such a good time.
Those would be cool.
Buttons for Bob.
Yeah, there you
For
go.
Bob.
Button. So great.
All right, so we are already over 2.5 hours in, and I haven't even mentioned the typing prompts. And we also have the drawing for last month. Let me share the screen here.
A drawing?
Yeah.
What's the draw? What's the prize?
Oh.
So every time someone participates in the typing prompts within a month, they get put in a drawing. Everyone that participates will receive a sticker.
And a Hermes 3000.
I know.
Yeah. No.
You would have gotten so much participation.
I know, huh? And then one person who we're gonna draw right now will receive a TypePal's keychain. So all right. So thank you to Bill, Diane, Emily, Joe, Kelsey, Care, Natasha, and Ted for participating last month.
You can also actually take my name off because I already have a keychain.
No, we're gonna leave it in there to keep the odds the same.
Oh, okay.
If you
win, we'll spin again.
Yeah, spin again if it's me. So
okay. All right, so here we go. Good luck, everybody.
So exciting.
This is fun.
Oh wow.
Oh, he's not here though.
It did that last time too. It was like right on the edge and then just went over.
Oh wow. And poor Kelsey, poor Kara's not here, but that was so close, Kelsey. Oh my
I know, gosh.
Literally a hair.
Oh,
that's okay.
Oh my goodness.
you know, plug it harder.
Yeah, I know, huh?
Yeah.
So you will still get a sticker, and then Kara will get the keychain. I'm not sure how often we're gonna keep doing this. For one thing, I still haven't mailed out the prizes from last month, so, or from the last drawing. So some of you will be getting 2 stickers. Yes. And of course, Sarah, for her amazing generosity, is going to get a keychain and a sticker because that's not, that does not equal the price of a Hermes typewriter, but it's a small.
Still counts as bribery.
There you go.
I'll take it.
Payola. It's payola, not bribery.
Yeah.
No, for me, the great prize is Gregory's joy. It just makes me so happy because I know he's really going to use it and have great.
Oh yeah, this thing it may never leave my desk.
I'm glad.
The Bob Barker of the typewriter world.
Yeah.
That's right. With his wheel that spins.
Yeah. Come on down.
Yeah.
Come on down.
Those minty green keys look so delicious.
Oh yeah,
Sure,
yeah.
the next contestant on the typewriter is right.
There you go.
That's right. That's cute.
So Gregory, you're going to need a little tray of thin mints to be eating along with your green typewriter there.
Yeah. I actually my preference is and maybe this is what you're referring to, the Andes mints.
Yes.
Oh, Andes mints. Yes.
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 Yeah.
That's right.
And then you need like a little milk glass dish for them to sit in, and then it comes to that.
Yes.
That'd be perfect.
Yeah, the wife and I, we one of our favorite restaurants is a little hole in the wall Italian restaurant, family owned, and you know, a lot of restaurants will give you mints at the end of your meal. Well, they give you Andes mints, and not only are they Andes mints, but they're refrigerated. Which if you eat those when they're refrigerated, they are so
they're so good that way.
Oh man,
you get that little nice little crunch, but it's creamy at the same time.
Yes.
So good. Love it.
All right. So I mentioned the typing prompt. Yeah. Let's see. I'm trying to remember what it is. It's gonna scroll across eventually on my little screen here. But does anyone have a typing prompt? Dan does. Yes, he does. Excellent. Diane does. Excellent. Very good. Very good.
Kelsey.
Well, yes. And I think Dan raised his hand first, so we'll go with Dan. You're muted.
Here we go.
There we go.
Sounds okay. This is kind of scary but fun. I haven't done this since university, writing fiction in English. Sorry, no, but I'll try my best.
It'll be good.
Yeah, hopefully. Thank you very much.
Ted has faith in you.
I have faith.
Yeah, thank you. I could use the Swedish mentality of doing anything. This is going to suck anyway. Everything. Imagine this being a postcard dated Cuba, the 4th of July, 1951.
Okay.
Dear loved one, all packed for my summer vacation. I thought I had everything I needed. When it was too late, I realized I forgot all the notes to my upcoming novel. I was planning to work from my home in Cuba since the sun and the waves always mix together with the clacking from my typewriter, preferably the Corona 3 that Hadley got me for my birthday 30 odd years ago. Instead, I got to the islands without any notes. Luckily, I happened to pass the fishermen down in Havana today, hearing their stories, the quarrels, and wading through the thick mist of their pipes and the cigars. I sat down among them, they greeted me, and I just sat there absorbing every word. One of the stories, one really stuck, about an old crusty fisherman called Santana being alone at sea for many days trying to get a marlin. Some of the fishermen told me it was a legend, nothing to really take notice about. He had been around for ages. Still, the idea really stuck to me. I went home, fed all my cats, and walked into the study with a Black Beauty pencil and a stack of legal pad papers. I thought about the fisherman alone at sea, and I scribbled in the warm breeze coming through the wrought iron balcony fence, The Legends of the Ocean. Rather pretentious title. I prefer the working title better, The Old Man and the Sea. And I think I called the struggling fisherman Santiago instead of Santana. I think this probably be done soon since it's a short, sweet story. Maybe I will also win some prizes for it. Take care, my love to you and all on this great day. Sincerely, Papa Hemingway.
Oh, excellent.
Thank you
Excellent. Very good.
Thank you. Thank you. That was fun.
All right. And Kelsey?
Okay. It is nerve-wracking. Goodness. Reading in public was always like, when you were a kid and you had to read out loud.
Yeah.
Oh, I would just die. So the fact that I'm doing it. All right. All packed for my summer vacation. I thought I had everything I needed. When it was too late, I realized I forgot typewriter ribbon. This was a long weekend. I planned to get away and write, but I could see the ribbon there on the table in the front hall, right next to my phone charger. Arg, I forgot that too. Well, at least there was a charger in my purse, but I was going to have to make my old ribbon last. The first day of writing went well. I simply rewound the ribbon back to the beginning and used the blue side that I usually use for emphasis. It was light but readable. By the second day, I had to switch back to the black side because the blue was just too faint. How much emphasizing did I do? I found about a 6-inch section that I could just keep rewinding to. And this got me through the second day. The last day here, and I was getting desperate. My frustration with myself started to show in my main character. I noticed that she was constantly forgetting things and just started to be downright irresponsible. Even other characters started commenting on her lack of attention and wondering if she was feeling all right. I was on the last chapter. I resorted to abbreviating words. I hope I would be able to decipher my own impromptu shorthand, but it was too late to think about that. I got out my watercolors in hopes of adding just a little bit of life, but it didn't really work. So I got really desperate and tried inking the type bars, I can't read my own writing. I typed over my own stuff. Anyway, and I finally took a felt pen and just wrote right on the type slugs. Last sentence. Wow, maybe I'm gonna make it. One more inking with the pen should do it. The end.
Oh, excellent, excellent. Thank you, thank you.
Not a true story.
Very good. Thank you so much. And Sean, did you have one?
No, I don't have one. Sorry. I actually haven't been very good at it. I sort of kick myself every time we get on these calls because I'm like, oh shoot. So where are these put? Are they on the website? Or are they prepared for the week in advance? Because I need to do it now, so I'm not sitting here next Sunday.
Yeah, if you click on you go to typepals.com and then click on events. It has all the future meetings listed there with the typing prompts. And I totally didn't mean to call you out.
No, I don't mind. Hey, I'm not offended. I just wanted to say, if for those of you who think I'm a lazy bones, you're sort of right, but yeah, I didn't mean to not be. Anyway, yeah.
No, there was a third person that raised their hand, I believe, and I thought it was you, but I was mistaken.
No, that's right.
Oh,
I got to take off. Thanks for welcoming me. Nice to meet all of you.
Thanks
you
for
so
doing
what you're doing, Greg. I will see you all next week if
Excellent.
I possibly can.
See you
This
later,
was
Will.
awesome. Keep it up.
Awesome. Thank you.
Have a good day.
I got to head out too, guys, but it was great seeing everybody. Happy 4th
All right,
of July.
Eric.
Thank you, Eric.
Happy 4th of July.
Happy 4th of July.
Yay.
That was the third person.
Okay. I'm sorry, Diane.
Let's blame it on Diane.
I just see hands waving in the air. I'm like trying to mentally remember each one.
Okay, it was short. And now I'm getting an echo because I want to try my other camera on my other PC. So I gotta leave one of these meetings. So I lose the echo.
Diane, you typed this on your Smith Premier, right?
No, I typed it on my Olympia SG one because that one's actually down on the table.
You've got 11 of these things. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
Well, not all of them are currently functional. You asked if I had how many I had. You didn't say how many I had that were working.
I know. I'm just bugging.
And you got a haircut.
Yeah. What do you think?
Nice haircut.
Thanks.
So I was all packed for my latest trip to Rugby, North Dakota, and had started the drive to Sioux Falls, South Dakota, which is the limit for how far I can drive in a day. But alas, I stopped to get some gas over in North St. Louis County and realized I had left something at home. I wasn't too far away, so I decided to go home and get the item I had forgotten. So after completing my purchase, I headed back east and was soon back at home. Once I had the thing, I didn't specify what it was. Once I had the thing, I left the house again. After a long day's drive, I arrived at Sioux Falls, South Dakota. I got myself settled in the hotel room and had an uneventful night. I'm not sure what caused me to check, but when I was going through my photography gear, I realized that I had forgotten a very important piece of gear, my changing bag. I was devastated. I was shooting with my large format film cameras and I needed it. I shrugged and realized that if needed, I could black out the bathroom. However, the photographer running the workshop also had one that I was able to use. That's it.
Is it the end?
Yeah, I kind of ended it at a straight. I just ended it. You know, sorry about that.
Come on the edge of my seat. And then what happened?
The end.
Yeah.
Encore. Excellent. Thank you so much, Diane. And I still, your keychain from the last drawing will be on the way.
I didn't say anything.
I know, and I appreciate it, but I do feel really bad. But that's why I'm the poor typist.
The poor host.
You know? It's my
No, you do fine, Gregory.
Oh, thank you.
You have a wealth of
as soon as
friends.
I can figure out how to do videos, I'm going to try and do some. It's like I've tried, I've gotten some snippets, but I haven't been able to get them. It's like I've tried to use the boroscope here to try and take pictures of the machine actually at gut level, but then I can't get them out of the dang iPad. It's so hard to get them from the iPad to the PC because I cannot function in the Apple universe to that level. Whenever I'm trying to do the things I need to do, it's just
You have to use if you're trying to transfer to a PC, you have to use iTunes on the PC to transfer files.
Oh, because I've been trying to point it. It's like I have OneDrive on my iPad. I've been trying to point things at that and get them into that so that once they're in there, I can get to them.
Yeah.
If you plug in your USB to your computer to your iPad and open up iTunes on the PC, you should be able to sync up and transfer files through iTunes.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have iTunes on my PC anymore.
I know.
You can download it for free from Apple's.
Okay.
Yeah. It's kind of a workaround. If you have a Mac, it's a lot easier because
Well, I have this Mac laptop, but like I said, I can't figure out what I'm doing enough to get it to work. I can't figure out how to get folders from point A to point B. It's just in some, I don't know.
If you've got a Mac, the quickest way is AirDrop. So you enable AirDrop on both units, and you can just take a folder and drop it into the other thing, and it'll just transfer Bluetooth.
Oh,
no connection.
I didn't even know what AirDrop did.
It's really handy because you can just have the two things close together, and it'll go from one to the other.
Oh, I didn't.
You can also connect from your iPad to your Mac with a cable, with your charging cable for the iPad, and then open up Finder on the Mac, and it should see your iPad as a drive.
Oh, okay.
And from there, you should be able to transfer stuff. At least videos and photos, you should be able to transfer.
Oh, okay.
There's also a way you can take a screwdriver and pry open the Mac and pull the hard drive out and put it in your PC, and then you can get the files off.
Well, it's surprisingly difficult to get the boroscope files out of there. It's like I have no problem seeing it on the iPad, and whatnot, but it's been difficult. I was going to try
Well,
and
if you're doing still photos, there's another way through your iPad is to, if you have a Flickr account or an online photo hosting account, you can upload the photos from your iPad right to your Flickr, and then go into your PC or whatever and download them from your Flickr account.
Yeah, these are, I'm trying to do videos with it. So, I mean,
Okay.
I'm trying to take pictures inside the typewriter as the typewriter's being used. And I know that sounds screwy, but oh well.
There's actually no, you don't really, I know Ted's only semi-joking, but there's a lot of different ways to transfer files from a Mac to via a tablet, an iOS device. It's not that difficult. If you open iMovie on your old Mac and then connect your iPad to the Mac with your charging cable, and then click on iMovie, click import the down arrow button key, it'll show your iPad as a device, and you can get those files directly into iMovie, into a project that way.
Okay. I see.
But also through Finder, you can transfer them directly to your Mac. So.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Excellent.
I'm overcomplicating things as usual.
It's just a little bit, if you're trying to go to a PC, you have to use iTunes, because Apple doesn't really want you to use a PC, but they've begrudgingly made their MP3 player to be a file transfer device on a PC.
Oh.
Yeah.
Mike, how are you?
I'm doing fine, thanks. How are you?
Good.
Yeah, sorry to get in here a little late. I got in here a minute ago and then got a call. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I was trying to come in last week, but then an old friend came into town and I had to go see him. So.
Oh. Well, I'm glad you made it this time. I saw you holding up a piece of paper earlier.
I did do the typing prompt.
Oh, okay, excellent. Yeah, go ahead whenever you're
I
ready.
can start with that. It's a little long, but
that's okay.
I did one last week, but I didn't get in here to do it. But anyway, all packed for my summer vacation. I thought I had everything I needed. When it was too late, I realized I forgot to pack carefully. For several years, my wife and I camped with about 12,000 of our closest friends at an event called the Pensick War, held each year in Western Pennsylvania. We gathered to recreate the experience of living in the European Middle Ages. This war, sponsored by the Society for Creative Anachronism, or SCA, includes massive armored battles, pageantry, classes in all things medieval, as well as lots of partying and companionship. My wife enjoyed some of this. She went along mainly to please me. She particularly didn't like the dust and the August heat. We started out with a small modern tent, but eventually graduated to a nice big medieval style pavilion. This had enough space for a wood frame bed, big enough for a queen-sized air mattress. This made life much more comfortable. We generally arrived around dusk after our 450-mile trek from Virginia. We got the tent set up with the help of some of our friends. Then came the task of unloading the car and getting everything set up. I got the bed assembled and started to unpack the gear. When I got to the air mattress, I discovered that when I packed, I tore holes in it as I stuffed it into its plastic container. At that time of night, neither of us was in a particularly good mood. I envisioned that after an uncomfortable night sleeping on a hardwood bed, my wife would be fed up and demand to be taken home. I realized I only had one choice. I had to make the trek to the nearest Walmart, 20 or 30 minutes away, and seek a replacement. Since the event had already been going on for a week, I doubted my prospects. When I got to the store, I found, to my surprise, that they had one air mattress left. I hurried back to camp with my prize and got it set up in time for a mostly comfortable night's sleep. Our vacation was saved.
Excellent. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. That's what I love about these typing prompts. They just go in so many different directions, you know? So yeah, I love that.
I'm sorry I heard everybody else's, but this was kind of literal, but you know.
No, that's okay. Yeah, again, go ahead.
No, I did. I said I did finish the one project. I don't know if you can see this, but I was working on before. Was trying to make some ribbon.
Oh.
Okay, so it's kind of a light blue, which it started out with, but it ended up working. I mean, it was the glycerin and blue watercolor ink, and I found I just had to put it on, let it dry for a while, and then wipe it off, and then it seemed to work all right.
Okay, excellent, very cool.
But and it worked. I don't know how long it'll last, but it seemed to be.
Yeah.
And then my other news is that I picked up a Quiet Deluxe.
Oh,
nice. With the rabbit ears.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that's I enjoyed that a lot.
Yeah, very good.
It's actually got a fairly soft platen, so I'm happy with that.
Oh, bonus. Yeah, definitely.
So.
All right. Any other typing prompts or questions or comments or?
I have a new typewriter.
Oh yeah, go for it.
Let's see it.
So here's the case.
Oh, so tiny.
All right. Any guesses?
Does it fold?
I think so.
The Corona 3.
I'm thinking Erica folding.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a Bantam.
Oh. We were just talking about those earlier.
I know. Yep, had to go get it. So,
nice.
I mean, it doesn't look like it was ever even used.
It
looks brand new.
Right?
That's gorgeous.
It's so pretty. Yeah.
Spool nuts and everything.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, the first time I saw these, just a picture of one, I thought it said Batman. Transposed the letters. Which, I mean, if you move them around, you can spell Batman.
Yeah, yeah.
And then the keys, I thought, oh, they made a Batman typewriter? Yeah.
That's the one Batman used.
Yes.
In the Batcave.
Yeah, I was super excited about that. So.
In Bantam City.
Had to share. Yeah, in Bantam City.
Now,
I was thinking about decoupaging the inside with some old comic books.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
How much typing have you done on that? Like,
I just got it, so I haven't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but I did go also to a estate sales, the first one I've gone to. It looked like there was going to be a KMM. They showed it there, but turns out this was the second weekend of the sale. And so it was already gone, even though they put in the picture. But upstairs, kind of covered up, was a IBM Selectric 3, the correcting typewriter, and it wasn't working. It's still not. I just got it on Friday, but it just as soon as you turn it on, it made a weird noise. So I went down. I was like, hey, I'm kind of interested in that typewriter, but it's not working. What do you think? And he's like, oh, you can have it for like $10. Just take it away. And it even has a cover, but it just dashes constantly. As soon as you try to return it or get it going at all, wake it up, dashes.
Does it go thumpa 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 when it turns on?
It made kind of a grinding noise at first, but then it just kind of hums, and then it was fine. But as soon as you try to type anything, it starts going with the, I guess not, like a hyphen, just constantly.
That's not terrible. It's when you hear that thump 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 when you turn it on. That's the part where you've got a broken center hub, and that's very bad.
It sounds like some of the linkages that need to be degreased.
That's definitely probably
with a manual typewriter. With a manual typewriter, when the type R linkages are stiff and gummed up, if that happens with like the dash linkage could be gummed up, it's not fully retracting, so it's the spindle is hitting it all the time when it's turning, right? So you want to go through the basic degreasing procedure like you would with a manual, degrease all those linkages.
Okay, yeah, because I tried to look it up, Dwayne's stuff, but never could find just the dashes, other than there's only a few things that do that constant repeating, and that's one of them. So
yeah.
When you open up the ribbon cover,
you want to remove the chassis.
Yeah, you'll see a line when you open up the ribbon cover or take the skin off. You'll see a line of silver levers right in front where the margin setters are.
Yeah.
That's where the linkages usually get gummed up. So
Oh, okay.
for the keys and the interposers. So
Okay.
you want to kind of clean that area out and lightly lubricate it, and that may solve your problem.
Okay, so not underneath necessarily, but just right there in the front.
Yeah, right in the front is where it usually catches all the dust and gets pretty dirty pretty quick.
Yeah, I noticed a lot of pencil eraser stuff in there, so I don't know if whoever it was doing something. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
I'll try that.
that's the least protected part of the machine, and so stuff gets in there and gums up those levers a lot. So
Okay.
it's the first space to look.
Yeah, it's the first electric. I wasn't going to get into electric because my whole thing was, I could take it anywhere, but I mean, how can you just say no and walk away? And
Electrics are a unique experience, and I highly recommend them to anyone who has the room for them.
Yeah, well, and Matt over at Ace, he's like, it's the best typewriter they ever made. And I was like, oh, yeah, so, and it does look cool. And just the idea of being able to just change the typeface so easy with just put a new ball in. That's kind of compelling as well. So
this Electric 3 has the 96 character balls, so they'll have a yellow top.
Okay.
The white top ones are for the Selectric 2 and Selectric 1.
And they don't
interchange.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I'm just gonna have to go now because it's just gone 7 p.m. here, and I'm gonna go get some sleep. It's been really lovely to see you all again. It's so nice to see you.
Yeah.
Really, you've had a lovely 4th of July.
Thank you.
Thank
so
you.
much.
Yeah.
Celebrating our independence from your country.
I know, it seems
weird. Yeah, because we don't have a national day. We've just got when it's fireworks here, it's just usually firework night, like bonfire night, and sometimes New Year.
Not Guy Fawkes Day.
So yeah, when it's bonfire night, we have, generally speaking, we've got organized events that are arranged by the sort of local councils. It used to be a long time ago when I was little. In fact, when I was just sort of a young woman, you could still do fires in your garden and fireworks in your garden, but I think because there was a lot of accidents and similar complaints to the sort of nervousness of animals, they stopped. And of course, you still get your scallywags that do that. You're always going to get that, but you do have an organized event generally, and people go to that here. Yeah.
Well, have a good 4th of July, even though you don't celebrate it.
Happy Colonial Rebellion Day.
Yeah, there you go.
And I'll see you all next week.
Okay. Yeah.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
I think I have to go too. So, but it was nice to see everybody.
Thank you so much, Kelsey, and better luck next time with the.
I know, I was so close, so close.
Oh.
Thank you. I look forward to my sticker. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. So we're on the 4th of July. It's the Rebel Alliance. We're celebrating the rebellion, right?
Yeah.
Can I just say that
There's
made
a
it all
Star Trek
worth
connection.
That made it all worth it. Lee, a Brit wishing us a lovely 4th of July. I mean, that just totally made my day. She was so sweet.
Definitely.
I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
that whoosh, the culture difference, and she's being so polite, and oh my gosh, that made it all worth it.
The culture difference is that she has culture and I don't.
Very polite, unless you're a scallywag.
Yeah, I'm a scallywag. I'm a
Yeah.
scallywag.
Well, we're
for sure.
Americans. She's British. It's appropriate.
Sure, right, exactly.
I'm not even sure what a scallywag is.
Joe Van Cleve, that's a scallywag right there.
Yeah. If you look it up on Google, you'll see my picture. That's right.
AKA YouTuber.
Yes.
Yeah, to be fair, Canada did fine without having a revolution.
I suppose. Yeah. Where's our Canadians? Our Canadians aren't represented.
I know, but
They're not here.
they didn't fall
Yeah.
under the oppression of the British, really. So
We tried to get them. We tried to get them to join us, and they said no, thanks.
There you go.
Then we invaded
They were
them.
very polite about it, though.
We weren't polite about it. We tried to invade them, and it didn't work.
Is Sean on here to defend himself?
No.
No,
Oh,
he left
already.
His phone died.
I can't make Canadian jokes. I love him, and I poke Canadian and American jokes at each other all day long on the Instagram. It cracks me up.
Excellent.
Well, I did want to say, for those of you with Hermes, brand new Hermes 3000s, we have feet for those.
Oh, yeah, I got a set of those. Those are real nice.
And we've got Hermes Rocket ones and Olympia SM7 and SM9. So if you guys are interested, I still have plenty left over.
How much are you
Gregory?
charging for those?
$15 a set.
Okay.
And you just email archivist@typewriterdatabase.com and I will set you up.
Excellent.
Any SM3 or SM4s?
Yes, I do. Right here.
Woohoo!
Look at this. I have them in packages with instructions and everything.
Yeah, I've got a few of them here. Ted, I just can't thank you enough for shipping those out to me. And that product looks so good, man. And I thank you for the wonderful letter too. I took a picture of it, meant to post it, but anyway. Ted wrote me a letter. I have it in the house, but he wrote me a letter and it starts out reading like a blog. And I thought that's weird. And then it stops and then the actual letter starts and he goes, "Oh, sorry for all the blog stuff up above. It's just a blog that never got posted. And I didn't want to waste a piece of paper."
So Gregory, maybe you should post that blog.
Yeah.
What are you guys talking about? I missed what Ted was sending out.
Oh, I have feet.
Oh,
Typewriter feet.
Oh, how cool.
I have typewriter feet in bags with instructions.
Good
different
to know.
kinds.
Are they up on eBay or anything?
No, I just have this box full that I've made, and so I'm selling the ones that I have made.
You're gonna take an over for Steve Dade.
Well, I don't know about that. I'm not quite as set up as he is, but I do have a few sets for. Basically, these are copies of the ones that I made for my own machines. I just happen to make a whole bunch extra, and so
cool.
I'm getting rid of them as people need them.
What's the email again?
Archivist@typewriterdatabase.com.
Okay.
You have any
I've ordered
interest
several
in
of them.
doing?
They're really neat.
What was that, Lynn?
Do you have any interest in doing a Torpedo 18 feet?
Do you have intact ones that can be hard but cannot be crumbled?
Oh yeah.
If you want to email me and send them to me, I'll see what I can do. Because I also need to do Royal Portable feet, but I'm still looking for good ones of those. And so I'm going to be doing
Royal
some
what?
Royal Portable from the 40s.
Oh.
So I need to make some of those for my machines. And so I'll be making a cast, not super soon, but fairly soon. And I can add an additional foot pattern in there if I have one. That someone
Yeah, it might be
needs.
marketable. The torpedo people are pretty intense.
Mm-hmm. So we'll see what we can do. Email me.
Okay.
Let's make something happen.
Yeah. That $15, that sounds on the low end.
It is, but I like you guys, so
okay.
Is that American dollars or is that Bitcoin or?
Yeah, it's 15 Bitcoins, so it's
15. Oh, that's expensive. Whoa.
It's like $320,000.
Yeah. Those things are insane. My goodness. Yeah. But I'll be hitting you up for the Hermes feet because the ones on this they feel like they're rock hard. So
they usually are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ted sent me a set for the Hermes 3000 and they really are good and it makes a huge difference.
Very good.
Thank you.
And if I'm not mistaken, you make them in a green material?
I do not. Actually, I do. I think I do have a set in green still.
Okay, I remember seeing you showing.
When I first started, I was doing like, because I started with the Hermes 3000, I made I made them with green coloring.
Okay,
I used a mica powder. And so I started with like mint green, and I made some for SM3 in mint green and then in maroon. And then I figured out that because I had to make multiple sets of feet, I had to make mint green sets for other typewriters that weren't mint green. And so I was like, well, I should probably just make them all in black. So they're all the same, because I ended up with a lot of spares that were weird colors, and it didn't make sense for the machines that
exactly
going on to
a very specific use.
Yeah. So if you got one of the early ones, I did have some colors then, and I think I still have a few, but I don't know which ones right now.
Okay.
So Ted, what was your learning process in learning to do this? Did you just YouTube a bunch of videos about how to cast stuff in silicon rubber, or?
Well, I was watching a guy named Craftsman, Steady Crafting. He has a YouTube channel about just crafting, and I saw he was doing casting of plastic toys in urethane and the casting rubber that he was using, and so he tells you how to do it, and he tells you what materials he was using. So I thought, I have hard typewriter feet that are still in shape, but they're not crushed or anything. So I thought, I wonder if I could do that in rubber. And I tried it out, and it was pretty easy to do. So I actually started out trying to make carriage levers for Smith Coronas, the plastic carriage levers on Galaxies that are always broken. And I could not find a material that was strong enough for that. It was not very durable. So I gave up on that. But I was making, for a little while there, I was making like carriage levers for Galaxies that were like blue with sparklies in them, and like clear blue with sparklies. I thought would be pretty cool, but the plastic just wasn't firm enough for it.
Can I put in a little plug for some casting stuff that I make too?
Of course.
Absolutely.
Probably you guys have seen these if you are on the Facebook page, but I make like little replacement logos for, so this is one for an Olympia, and the Olympia one is, they're made out of resin, and I airbrush them with a chrome paint, and then I don't have any posts on the back, so you have to stick them on. I couldn't get the post to cast, but, and then here's like a Smith Corona
nice
badge, and I've got Colibri and Torpedo and Royal. I've got a couple of different, so they're not as durable as the real thing, but if you got something that you just want the look restored, then I make those.
Actually, very cool.
Yeah.
And you're on Etsy or?
No, just on the typewriter pages. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
it's too bad you can't make those into hat pins, like a little metal pin and a.
I would totally play one of those.
That would be pretty cool. Yeah.
You actually could. You could.
I need a forge or a metal smithing.
You can
or if you could just
aluminum.
cast it around one of those pins, one of those metal pins that has the little fastener on the back.
You actually can cast aluminum in that same rubber that you cast resin in.
I had wondered, somebody was talking to me about that. These are so tiny though. I have to really, really be careful so that I don't get bubbles in it. It's these are really difficult to cast. So
aluminum doesn't have as many bubbles as resin does.
So you need a little
chemical
forge.
reaction.
How do you melt the aluminum safely? Do you use a little forge kind of thing?
Well, use a little burner and a torch. You can do it in like a fairly big spoon, like a ladle, and just take your aluminum ingots and put them in there and torch the bottom and melt them. Aluminum has a pretty low melting point, so.
Yeah, and don't wear sandals when you're doing this.
Don't wear sandals. But that the casting rubber is actually fireproof. You can
cool.
You can cast metal in it.
Wow.
That's crazy.
I suppose Peter would work too, because you can cast that in. Well,
Absolutely, yeah. That's
Yeah.
low, even lower temperature.
yeah.
Wow. Huh. So Andy Kovacs on YouTube had an interesting question. He says, speaking of Hermes 3000s, can someone please remind me of the nail polish color that matches?
It's a Sally Hansen color. Something money, I think.
Interesting.
Let me look it up on
Color of money.
I've got a vial of it somewhere. I'd have to dig it out. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the problem with that is that there are several Hermes greens, right? I mean, they're all kind of an aqua, but then you get dark ones. I don't know. I've had a lot of, I've had several of them. So I just take a corner at the top, maybe down to the local Sally beauty supply place, and buy a few and match up the colors. And before you know it, you got a big bin of them. I've got mine up here. And
You can mix them too. So if you need
That's
like
true.
a lighter green, you can mix white with a green. So yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
So,
And I always end up thinning them down with some paint thinner, trying to take some gloss out of them because they're so. And it's really just for itty bitty nicks. If you got a big scratch or something, forget it. But little nicks around the corner, around the edges of the tops, where maybe the paint hits each other, that's where I try to use it to where it doesn't. You can't see, what it is.
Yeah.
the name of it.
So
is,
Gregory, you could do your nails. You could have the 10 keys of the QWERTY UI off row, each one, and then have it with Hermes green background with a letter on each finger.
It's called Sally Hansen's Time is Money with THYME.
Okay. Time, like the herb.
Yeah, like the herb.
Time is money. Yep. Excellent.
It's number 523.
There we go.
The number.
We're all gonna race off to the beauty supply now. Excellent. Are you doing a little spinorama there, Diane?
Am I what? Doing well?
A little
Actually,
spinorama.
I remembered I was going to ask Lee if I tried to describe something to her, but how can you describe it without showing it,
Yeah.
Because she's so good at making stuff. I wanted to see if she could make, this is actually it's like a key cover. And it came off of one of the Smith Premiers, and it's basically under, it seems paper-like, but I'm not sure.
is it squishy or hard?
No, you can't squeeze it. It's well, I don't want to.
Well, don't break it.
It's hard. No, it's hard, but
if you were to send it to me, I could probably make a mold and cast it.
Okay.
But I would have to have the original part, but I would send it back to you.
Well, yeah, I know.
It looks
eventually.
Like,
eventually.
like stamped,
yeah, you know where I live.
Metal.
Like stamped metal?
What?
Is that stamped, do you think? Like it could be cellulose or metal stamped? It looks very thin.
It is very thin, and I don't. It's not metal. It's not paper either, but it
could be cellulose.
They used to make some sort of reinforced cardboard too that was like, I don't know, impregnated with some sort of plastic or something. It might be something like that.
It looks translucent from the underside, like you can see through it slightly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see the logo on the top.
Yeah.
But I noticed as I was cleaning up my Smith Premier 5 that I was cleaning it, and all of a sudden the top came off, and I'm like, oh, well, that's different. I didn't see that coming. And
how many do you need?
Well, I don't know.
Less than 100.
Yes, less than 100.
Okay,
there you go. I don't know is the answer, because several of my keyboards have incorrect keys on them.
Oh, okay.
A P instead of a Q, a J instead of a T, or whatever.
We'll get it figured out, and then I could probably make some for you.
Yeah,
if you figure out what you need.
Okay, yeah, they came in black and white,
Uh-huh.
obviously. And it looks like there's like a little dimple here for on the top for like the keys look like. And I've seen those, but anyway, this was kind of hard to describe over, over a few texts on the messenger, and it's like it's all, I don't know, it's like it's kind of, I noticed that there was like a white line on the top. I guess that was to indicate this is the top. So right here. But
oh, right. Yeah. The top of the key.
Yeah, the top of the key. So that you knew really, yep, you're supposed, this goes on top, but
so the 7's not upside down.
Right.
It's not an L.
Yeah, so
Alright,
it doesn't
gotcha.
look like an L instead of a 7, but and it's funny that some of these and I kind of looked, you can see looking along the edge of the keys, you can actually see which ones have had the key tops put on them. And some of them I was able to get off, others I was not, and I didn't mess with it. But some of them actually had the same key underneath the top, and I don't understand why they did that. Maybe they didn't like the feel, maybe they thought it was dirty. But some of them it actually was different. The key top was different, but the top that they replaced it with is actually the key that's on the typewriter. So it's kind of interesting to see what happened. Obviously a replacement was made. It's maybe a type bar was swapped out at some point. I don't know.
Yeah, that's possible.
Yeah.
Well, I've seen those key tops on Underwood 5s and stuff, and they can like degrade and sort of meld with the other key.
Those were like a comfort sort of thing, right? For secretaries who had to type a lot. They were like a little more rubbery, I guess. Originally, I think that's what they were for.
Huh. Yeah. When they disintegrate on top of the keys, it's a real mess.
Yeah. They get kind of melty and gross. Yeah.
Right.
Well, some of these they just break just because they're old. And I want to try Ted's little casting trick on a Smith Premier key and see if I can't actually make myself some new ones rather than trying to get off the ones that are totally shot.
It is definitely not a difficult process. So,
well, given that I have some keys that were off of another machine and they actually are apart from the stem that they fit on, it's like, oh, so that's how it fits in there. It's one of those things where, okay, I've got the part and I could do the casting. I just have to watch your video about 20 bazillion times and make a list of things to get.
Well, you need the rubber itself. Which is like, I use Umu 30, OOMOO 30 from Smooth On, which is a 2-part thing. You mix the 2 parts together in equal amounts and stir it together, and that makes the rubber that you pour over the original thing, and then you flip it over when it's dry and coat it with a little Vaseline and flip and pour the other side, so you get a 2-part mold. And then after that, the rubber or plastic, whether you use resin or like a hard rubber, like Econ 80 I use for typewriter feet. That's also just a 2-part thing. It comes in 2 different bottles, and you just mix them together in equal parts and stir them up and put it in there, and then just let it dry and cure. So it's super easy process.
Have you ever lost an original in that molding process?
No, it doesn't harm it at all. Trying to think of the name of the rubber. It's what they use in like nonstick pads that you put in for cookies. Silicone, that's it.
Yes.
It's silicone rubber, so it doesn't stick to anything.
Oh, okay.
Except itself.
Yeah.
And So it really doesn't do anything to the original part at all.
Yeah, that's what I use for my typewriter logos too, is that make a silicone mold. And
Yeah, it's a super easy process. It's not hard to learn.
Yep.
Wow.
So Ted, when you have the two mold halves made, then you want to cast the silicone rubber into it. Do you have to make little pour channels? Like you put the two mold halves together, then you have a pour channel to pour the stuff through, because you're not going to cast it in two separate halves. They have to be one, right?
Because I'm doing feet, I don't need to do injection molding, which is what that's called. It's injection molding when you inject the rubber into a hole in the form.
Okay.
I just have like the bottom half of the mold has most of the mold of the part in it, and then the top is just a lid that I just stick over it so that it forms the whatever bumps
so whatever
on the top of the foot.
Okay. So whatever flat surface there is to the original part, that's going to be the top of the mold.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, I see.
And so I just pour it in and kind of shake it up to get the bubbles out, and then put the top on.
Right.
And let it cure.
Excellent. What do you have there, Dan?
I have a broken number 5 key off of a Smith Premier something or other. It doesn't matter which one, but here you can see this is actually what it looks like in there.
For something like that, you would want to cast a complete top part of the key, and you'd have to somehow incorporate that metal piece into the top part of your mold, so that when you pour your rubber, then you stick that metal part in there, and then when the part cures, it cures around that metal part.
Oh, okay.
Which is a little more difficult, but it's not super difficult.
Right. Yeah, because as you can see, they don't come apart easily.
Right. Or at all, unless you break them.
Right. Or like the one on my 5, it's like I actually hit the key while I was typing and it broke.
So it looks like that key top, maybe like Bakelite or something like that, and it's just molded right around the metal, the metal top, huh?
Yeah.
If you were to pour that, make that out of silicone rubber, you might be able to. It might be flexible enough where you could open up a hole and get that metal disc up in there, right, to fit it around.
Yeah, you wouldn't cast the key itself out of silicone. You'd use like urethane or resin, probably resin, because you want you want it to be hard. But if you were to like cast it out of some fairly hard rubber like Econ 80 or even something that cures to like 95 Shore A hardness, and you could still probably have it be flexible enough that it could go over that piece and snap into place, and then you'd have cushioned keys.
Well, and I have a key somewhere. I have one key that is it's apart from that. So the metal part is still incorporated in a solid key, and that I if I can find where I put that, what I was thinking was maybe just to make a mold of that entire thing, because the special thing about that piece of metal is that it's not totally circular. There's like a little bump that goes down into that slot that you saw on the key, the bottom part of the key. And I didn't know if a rubber version of that would work in lieu of actually having that.
A resin.
A resin.
Work,
I mean. Oh, okay.
It may work. It may be a little delicate. I mean, if you're replacing a metal part with like a plastic part, there's always the chance that it was designed to be a metal part for a reason.
Yeah.
This is true, but
you could try.
So that little key that you showed us with a half broken, the metal part of it, the metal part is a tube or a rod of metal? Is that right?
It is.
Okay, so the side you're holding it on, is that okay? It has a special hole machined in it on the bottom. On the opposite of the key, opposite.
Sorry, I didn't have the broken one. So
Okay.
yes,
Well, anyway,
there is
yeah. Okay, so
Yeah.
is that's a hollow tube of metal?
No, it looks
Or is
solid.
it a solid rod with a hole drilled? Okay, so
well, there's a
yeah,
there's
you
a
could.
hole, there's a hole here, and then there's a slot. There's a slot right here, which
I
is
see. Okay.
obviously hard to show, but I think
Yeah.
you can see it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
that
that
would be
postage
difficult
stamp-
to mold. You would, because something with an indentation that deep and that small, you would need some sort of hard thing in your mold to like go in there. And when the plastic forms around it, it would be forming around that piece so that when you take it out, the hole would be there. That's difficult to do. When I do Olympia SM3 case feet, they have a very intricate post and hole arrangement where you attach the top part to the bottom part, and I have to use nails built into the mold to make those holes. And it's not really a mold that is designed for longevity.
Right. What I have somewhere is literally the key and the part that the nail, we'll call it a nail, whatever it's called. The key and the metal part separated from this. That's what I was thinking of using as the mold, if I can find it. It's it's a case of, yeah, I have a little plastic bins full of parts and
You said on some of those that the caps match the underlying keys and some of them they don't.
The cover up, yeah, the replacement ones that I was showing before, yeah, some of them actually don't. But
so I wonder if maybe that could be, and just completely speculating here, if maybe it was some kind of a repair thing where like it's a Franken typewriter and they pulled everything together and just, because you said that the key on the cap matches the type bar.
Yes.
Yeah, so I wonder if maybe something broke and they pulled something off of another machine and did it that way, and maybe that's how they came up
may
with that.
have. I don't know. That's the problem with these 100+ year old machines. You simply don't know. As much as I would like to say that I know, why these little things were created, I guess they were created for, oops, we don't have any more replacement parts. We can make one, but we can make one of these and just pop it on there and it'll be right,
But that thing you have in your hand, Diane, needs an intact key to go over it.
Yeah.
I mean, it can't go over a partially broken key and work.
Correct.
Right. So it wasn't really for replacing partly broken keys. It was just either maybe it had a different color key instead of black. Maybe it was brown or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or white, or maybe it was the style of lettering on the key that was different. That somebody wanted a different style lettering, just the legend on the key. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I'm wondering, Diane, if I think I showed some of you guys this. This is a replacement Smith Corona key that I made. And so what I did was I just made a mold of this. You know how the Smith Corona keys have that indent in the middle and then a little ridge around the outside. So I just made a mold of the key and then I printed out the legend on paper and dipped it in the resin and then just squished it into the mold. And so it makes, a profile like that. So something like that might work for your replacement parts that you're wanting to do. And it's just basically, it's like paper mache, but it's resin instead of glue. So
that looks really good too.
Yeah, well, this one has a little bubble in it, but yeah, they look good. It'd be a pain to do like an entire keyboard like that, but yeah, they turned out pretty nice.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, there was a new video this week, I think, a guy out of Milwaukee, Kruzinka or something like that, where he got a $7 Olivetti 22, Ladera 22, but the all the keys were gone. The key chopper had taken all the keys off of it, key tops. And so if somebody could, find a way to make replacements for all of that, that would be cool. You could actually make use of a thing that a key chopper had gotten a hold of.
Yeah.
With those is you figure out how to make one, and then everybody's like, well, what about my torpedo? Well, what about my, this? What about my that? So you don't have any of the things that other people want. You just have the one that you made. So yeah, I run into that all the time. Well, don't you have it for this one? No, I don't have it for that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Plus, I'm assuming when they chop the keys, they don't cut the metal bars in the same place on every key. So every one of those keys, the metal part is a different length. You'd have to make a custom mount for each one of the keys to get all the keys level. Right?
Yeah.
I think they just pulled those keys off because
Did they pull them off? Okay.
Yeah, I think
It depends
so.
on the
Some
model
of
of typewriter. Sometimes they chop them off with a metal cutter, and sometimes you can pull them off. So,
Yeah. But he's got a funny YouTube channel. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him. He's a real down to earth guy. He says the funniest things. It's
what's his name?
I'll look it up.
You didn't say. That's fine. Don't worry about it.
It's a guy out of Milwaukee, and he's just very a real character.
Well, guys, I'm going to go sign off.
All right. Thank you so much, Joe. And your
thanks
cell
a
phone
lot.
worked out.
Yes, it did. It's
Yeah.
still powered up.
Good.
Okay, guys. You have a good week. We'll see you next
Thanks,
week,
you
hopefully.
too.
Bye.
All right.
All
Bye,
right.
Joe.
Bye-bye. Yep.
Hi, Joe.
Bye.
Yeah, his name is Ken Kruschka. Kruschka. And he's a real funny.
Lost track of
funny-
the keys.
I know.
There.
I know.
Kruschka.
Kruschka.
Oh, I was so close. I just didn't have the A. Cool. Thank you.
And I think earlier, Will Davis did link to his channel. So so that's going to be in the show notes. It's in the chat right now, but yeah, so I will make sure to post that because I hadn't heard of his channel, and I think I've watched a ton of typewriter videos. So
Yeah, that YouTube algorithm is probably corrupt, but it's
what boggles my mind is if you just type in typewriter on YouTube, Joe is like nowhere near the top results. It's like, really? He has almost 300 typewriter videos. Why he should be one of the first results? It's mind-blowing. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh well.
Yeah, but I love the idea of more people making YouTube videos and just hearing different perspectives on typewriters, and we all have our specialties and our own knowledge and opinions. So I think the more the merrier, definitely. Yeah, and that includes.
Well, I should probably be going, but it's been a delight being back for a bit.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, I think. Yeah.
Have a good holiday, everybody.
Yes, you too.
Yeah, you too.
See you next time.
Bye-bye.
Did anybody else have any questions, comments, typing prompts, or anything like that? No? Matthew, any new fountain pens or anything?
Of course, there's always new fountain pens.
Hey, we almost had a whole episode where there was no fountain pens.
we did. I got an Hermes in the last week. So it's a vintage Italian that is no longer made. Back in, I don't know if it's probably not going to focus.
Yeah.
And then I've got, I love Parker's. Something about the Vacuumatics and the Challengers. I'm not a fan of the I guess I shouldn't say I'm not a fan of the 51s because I buy them all the time. They're not my favorite. I don't like the way that they look, but I love the way that they write. They're just a really good workhorse pen. And I got, I'm planning on going to the DC Pen Show. So that should be kind of interesting. I wonder how many typewriter people might be down there as well. So
you know, you never know.
Yeah.
wear a typewriter t-shirt. And
Yeah.
they'll come out of the woodwork. Excellent.
Never been to a pen show, but I don't think they're here.
This will be my first one in person. I did the St. Louis virtual pen show last month. They met, they had different things on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. So yeah, this will be my first in-person show, and I'm going with a budget, and we'll see how well I stick to it.
I didn't know they had that in St. Louis. Hell, that's where I'm at, basically.
Yeah. If you go, I think it's stlpenshow.com. There's like an entire group that meets and all kinds of stuff. So St. Louis has more going on than New York City does. We don't even really have a group that meets for fountain pens. So yeah,
need to start one.
once we start meeting in person again.
Yeah, definitely. Excellent. All right. Anything else? I think we're about ready to wrap up. I was shocked at how many people showed up today. Yeah, the first 2 minutes it was just me, and I was like, well, I'll maybe do 15 minutes and see if anyone shows up, and otherwise just call it quits. But then people started streaming in, so
you always get so worried, and you never have.
I know. I need to have faith. Excellent. Well, I do appreciate everybody being here today, and for those that participated in the typing prompt, and even those that didn't.
That's good, because I didn't.
I know, but you have plenty of times though, Ted. Yeah. So, all right, but thank you again for being here, and I appreciate it. And I will see you next Saturday for Bob's live presentation. We're going to stream that live. Hopefully that works out. And then on Sunday, we'll see you for the regular meeting.
All right.
All right.
All
We'll
right.
see you then. Thank you for
Yes.
having us.
Thank you.
Happy 4th of July, everybody.
4th of July.
Have a good weekend. Bye.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.